Morning, team. How's it going, everyone? Morning, team. Hopefully, man, or some of you Globex traders are having a lot of fun right now, aren't you? It's poor old Alex. It's still, it's 6:15 a.m. for me. I really can't stay up that late to trade with you guys, but it's what amazing opportunities that this market's providing overnight, especially. Sorry about that. And we're going to go over it right now, because we are going to have opportunities today. Okay, the first thing we're seeing is we had a 2-day inside build. Okay, so we got very, very tight, which is why yesterday got a bit boring to trade. Here's your Monday high, here's your Monday low. All right, here's your Tuesday high, here's your Tuesday low. Wednesday traded inside of Tuesday. All right, and Tuesday's traded inside of Monday. We're now starting to break out, all right, of the Tuesday, Wednesday level, aren't we? If we think about that, there's the liquidity build, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we've come down and we're coming to where we've just found a bid, right? It's Friday's close. Okay, so we've closed the gap on Friday. So we want to be very, very, very careful thinking about getting short down here. That's not to say the market is not in a sell, but we've lost location. What I really wanted to see was a look above here and a fail to trade back down. That's all I was looking for the long back up to trade back down. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. We did get it on ES. ES did take this out, okay, and it's starting to sell back down. All right, so we have to be aware of that. So this morning, what we're looking for, there's two options really. Well, there's three, technically speaking. We're opening up right near these higher time frame put walls, right at the lower Bollinger. All right, everything's trading downside, like we talked about in the newsletter. Lower Bollinger, 5-day, 20-day, 200-day cross, right? Very, very bearish that. And we're in trend down. We're trading between 5-day, sometimes mean reversion 20-day, lower ball, 5-day, lower ball, 5-day, lower ball. They're hugging very, very tight. The options today are very simple, all right? You could, there's an argument to take the counter trend bull trade, all right, back into a level of supply, all right? And then you'd be looking to see if sellers come back in. The second trade will be to sell that back down, taking some profits at previous week close and holding runners in case we break. And the third trade would be a reclaim, all right, if we trade back inside the pullback held, and we then would look for long back inside the chop. So let's talk about that. I guess the last trade would be a complete and utter meltdown, and we can give you those levels. All right, so we're watching the node we're currently in is right here, right into basically 24,000, right? 24,000 down to 24,900. You lose that node, and we're probably going to come and test this December 2024 high, all right? So we're going to get rid of a year's worth of work, come back to the 2024 high. Remember, that was the high pre-tariffs, right? As a highest point pre-tariffs. That would be down to 23,550-ish. If we lose that, all right, we have more nodes, 23,1 to 200, but a big one is down here, 22,700. This is one that I'd really like us to hit by the end of Q1, beginning of Q2. I think that would be a very nice opportunity then to bid back up, unless all hell broke loose, okay? And if you're wondering why we're sliding, like I said yesterday, those in Discord when we watched the press conference that Levitt get, all right, asking for a peace treaty deal and then saying if you don't sign it, we're going to bomb you to hell, quote unquote, is not going to get a good reaction, all right? That doesn't build confidence that we're close to an actual deal, right? So then we see a slide, and then on top of that, you've seen the Iranians come out and say there's no deal, and you've also seen a lot of fumbling of the words by officials in government of like, is there a deal? Is there not a deal? What's the deal? Who's doing the deal? When's the deal going to be done? Why are paratroopers going there? Etc. Etc. All right. So markets don't like uncertainty. Doesn't matter what side of this you sit on. The only fact is markets hate uncertainty because we can't price it in. So the easiest trade then is to just be risk off, which is what you're starting to see. Okay, into the hourlies. All right, and as we can talk about on the hourlies again, we come into the 4 o'clock close from Friday, the cash gap, as I would call it. We found a bid on the cash gap. We're already starting to bid back up. All right, so the areas I'm looking at, and make this a little bit bigger for you. All right, I'd love to see this trade back upside. I've probably missed the long opportunity already, but I'd be watching a drift back upside into current week value area low and this previous weekly node. All right, so we've got a nice overlap here of current week value area low, previous week node. So I'll be waiting to see, do we come into sort of 230s, 250s, 275s and fail, right? Do we lift into here and fail? If we don't fail, so this would be a short opportunity here. So maybe a long opportunity up and a short opportunity down. If we don't fail, if we come back inside and we build liquidity for here, all right, and shorts keep trying to sell and they start absorbing it, then there's probably going to be a lift back upside to previous day value area low, which again coincides very well with the week before the top of this node into sort of 320s, 350s. All right, so trade 1, I guess, would be a lift up. Trade 2 would be the trade down, all right, and trade 3 would be after the consolidation, the lift back up, and trade 4 would be the pressure back down again. And if we lost this level, we can think about the downside move. That might also hold as a pullback, so we'd have to be aware. If we reclaim previous day value area low, unless I'm already long from here, I will probably leave it alone, to be honest, because we're pretty packed in here from previous day and current week and the week before and even the week before that. All right, we have a pivot in here. So I don't really want to trade 350 to 450 today. I'm going to try and leave that alone. I'd like to see the market react below that for a sell. If we reclaim it, very dangerous on a reclaim because this would be a sweep. If it did this in one go, it'd be really nasty. We do have unfinished business here that I was looking at yesterday. All right, so that's my sort of trade thesis for today. The levels I'm looking at. If you want to look at the GEX levels on the 0 DTEs, you can see we're coming right into some put walls. All right, those put walls, 24,045, 24,005, 23,920. They line up pretty well, don't they, when we think about gap fill and just a little wash underneath. So we're starting to find a bid there. And again, I would like it to sell in one of these zones. If we don't sell in these zones, if we go reclaim, you can see that the previous day point of control and the current week point of control and the highest volume level for 0 DTE is 24,420. So we can't rule it out. We can't rule it out. It just needs a little bit of wind to say, hey, ceasefire is actually happening. They're going to do a deal. And you probably get that quicker than you think because this is an overnight sell, right? If we think about overnight highs here, London lows here, right? We did a rotation in Asia. We lost the edge. We puked out, right? We're likely to come back and test some of these levels. But if we reclaim, then we can come right back for Globex high. Everything's lined up there, all right? Previous week point of control, current week point of control. Current week point of control, previous day point of control, Globex high, 0 DTE, high volume node. It's bleh. I really do not want to see. You do not want to see the market up there if you're a short seller. You really don't. Okay, let's get through some of the other charts here. Okay, ES. Have we undercut? Not quite. So relative strength here, divergence at these lows because NQ has undercut. Probably going to transfer back inside for a little bit. And I guess we'd be watching these nodes here. All right, 600 and then 625. So those are sort of your lifts to sell. All right, if we get inside of 600 to 610, we can see a rotation. They have to make their mind up. Otherwise, we're going to come back up to 625, 640. You really don't want to see it up too high if you're a short seller. You definitely don't want to be reclaiming initial balance low from yesterday. So I'd be looking for sells like somewhere in these, all right, for the downside pressure. If they reclaim, then they reclaim and you're in trouble. And you just need to be aware of that. You have to be aware of that. All right, let's go through the spiders. I don't think the 0 DT data is updating properly on the spiders right now. And it's definitely not. It's a fucking joke, mate. That's not quite right, but let's see. Again, same kind of story. Into this pivot on the SPY. So if we think about Monday's breakout, pullback Tuesday, found a bid Wednesday, cleared out the highs like we talked about Wednesday. This is what you wanted to see. Fail back inside, back down to this pivot. So how we operate here becomes important. Do we come back to 55s to test that sell or 57s to test that sell, right, for sell back down? Or do we slide underneath this, lose this box, support becomes resistance, and we'll slide all the way back down into these blocks? So those are the opportunities, very, very similar to NQ. We're going to see the same thing on QQQ here. I would remind you that VIX remains elevated. I've talked about it many, many times. That is not what we wanted here. Can we get the stocks, please? There we go. No, that's still not what we wanted. Where are you? Here you are. All right, so you can see here's the divergence QQQ with the undercut, right, coming into some of these put walls into previous week close. Right, can it find a bid? If it finds a bid, you're going to watch these levels. Very, very simple. All right, watching these levels for sells back down. If we reclaim, you want to be very careful in here, which is where I'm going to try and leave it alone. All right, very, very simple. If we stay heavy, all right, then obviously under these put walls, if we decided to go on a negative squeeze, you do have previous week low. But I would be somewhat surprised if we actually came for that today in one go, but without a lift up, I'm saying. But we'll see, because it would mean shorts are getting very heavy. It would mean there's catastrophe in the market, because it would mean bulls are selling the lows, panicking out. All right, Dixie remains trying to get back upside like we talked about before. We've started to see that base and that W. All right, there's the Monday move. All right, there's the W starting to base above, and it's trying to get back up to that Monday. This is the close, just like we've seen. So this is the reverse of the market right now, exactly the same. VIX, all right, this is the big one for me. VIX is still basing well above 20s, by the way, and above 25s, and is coming into this 28 gamma wall. All right, if we get lift through 28, you can see where it wants. If we go through there, God almighty knows this market is going to be in so much pain. But this is very, very elevated. For you guys who might be newer, if you don't follow the VIX, all right, when we're in bull markets, we're down in these low teens, all right? We're down in these low teens. When we're nice and calm, we're down here, all right? We have been elevated for a very long time now, all right? 18 days now we've spent above the key level. If we keep spending too much time up here, you can see what happens, all right? We're very, very close to something like that happening if we don't get positive data come soon. All right, so just be aware of where the VIX is. That's all I'm saying. All right, we'll go through the mags nice and quick. Apple, you're going to see a gap down on pretty much everything here, I would imagine. Apple gapping down back into that chop from Monday, Tuesday. Amazon gapping down as well, but again, trading inside current week range at the midpoint. That is a no trade location for me. Goog, sliding. This thing's getting absolutely melted off the highs, and the problem is everyone's talking about a buy already. The problem I have is once that law case got solved on Goog, we went parabolic. This can actually come down here. I mean, it's unlikely to come that low, but we've built negative structure here. It hasn't got much structure here. It's got some gaps to fill. That I'm certainly not picking Goog up anytime soon. That's got to come back in. Meta, inside the range as well. Oh, starting to break out of the range. I lie. All right, starting to break out that range. So we have to zoom out a little bit. More of a downside slide coming here. So undercut here into the November lows, and we undercut that. We've got room back down into this block from, that would be the tariff pivot. So I'll be watching Meta, how we respond into some 560s down to 480s. Right, down in here is probably a buy opportunity on Meta. I do have a bit on long on that, but nothing notable, and it's for a long-term position. Microsoft, you can see that's catching a bid. This has been the relative weakness in the market, all right? Given this whole move back, we've now filled the gap, all right? We built a new flag out. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if we come down and take some of this out, and then you never know. If we get catastrophe, we might get a nasty wash and then a rebid, which would be perfect for me for swing positions. Nvidia, the level 170s. Until we let go of 170s, we're in chop. P ratio on Nvidia is actually pretty good. It's not in a bad position, but this 170s key, you can see we've been in here since August last year. It's a fucking long time, folks. All right, it's a really long time to be in a tight range. The move out of this will be aggressive. Like, we will lose 170s, it will be very aggressive. We break, 200s, it will be very aggressive because you have a huge amount of liquidity built up. We'll see. They're coming back down to that neutral zone of 75. Tesla, same story, giving it back inside the range. All right, that has you covered. Open coming here, folks. So you know what I'm looking for? I'd love a lift up to sell into. All right, that's what I'm looking for. It's up to you whether you want to play that long back up. But I want a lift up to sell into in an ideal world. That's what we get. Anywhere into those sort of 250s would be good. Maybe previous day low 250 to 290 would be good if we get through that, and then probably going to go 340s, but I really don't want to let that high. Too much panic is on the tape is what's going to matter. So here's the sell of the morning. Let's see if they come back into previous week close here. Here you go. There's a previous week close tag. And are they going to wash the overnight lows, or are they just going to bid previous week close? At the moment, we're right into that previous week close of 100. If we start dropping here, it's going to be very hard for me to trade. Don't feel comfortable getting short at the overnight lows, but we're right into this previous week close. That's this line here. If we start losing this, you can see we're going to come back down into these blocks. I would really like them to find a bid here. Not because I want to get bullish, because I want a better position to short. Still hovering this previous week close. And still trying to bid off this previous week close. I would not bet against a wash here coming. Still bidding previous week close. Lots of liquidity down into 525. So still bidding previous week close. Whole market's very, very red right now. There's the wash coming back into previous week close again. Very sensitive area here. Very, very, very sensitive area here. If they wash this, there's not going to be much I can do with it. There's not going to be much I can do with it if they wash this. Come on, get your ass up. Get up to 250 or something. Give me something to play with, please, market. It's volume on. They lose this, they're going to come right down into these 24,000s. But there's no way I'm playing short down here, folks. If it does that move, it does it without me. I want us to lift right back up into this block up here. All right, it's what I would like this market to do. Okay, good hold of previous week close. That's good. And we've got imbalances from that opening print up here already into 135, 140. I lost data already. This is getting ridiculous now. I need to reboot NinjaTrader again. Sorry, folks, give me a second. This is how many days in a row now? Keep losing data. I wonder if I've got to do a complete reinstall. I'll watch Bookmap for you. Oh, this boots up. So there's lots of liquidity still stacked all the way down to 24,000. All right, so they might come back down for that. Pops are being sold into at the moment. We've not got that move up that I would like to see to sell. Again, it's not that I'm bullish. It's just I'd much prefer, all right, given what we've seen overnight, to be selling one of these areas than trying to sell down here. I'd much prefer that move or that move to sell to get down into this. I really don't want to sell the breakdown down here. It's very, very risky, especially for a morning opening drive. But here we go, Ninja coming back online here. Still at previous week close. Nothing's changed, folks. They've not cleared out the lows and they've not come up to the an area that I'm willing to get short at. I'm just basing around. On a 5 minute. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry. There we go. Sorry about that. There you go. So we're very thin. You can see off the open above 15s. There's a couple nodes up here. I've only been open for a minute, but the New York Open's up here. If we trade through the New York Open, I think we can drift up here, which is where I'm really interested in playing this market. Not interested in a short down here. Some of you guys might be. I'm certainly not interested in a short down here. Not for me. If we break lower and we retest this level that we're at, maybe I'd consider it, but I'm certainly not getting short here at the start. You can see tapping into this sort of 29s. So we've got through the 10s, coming into these sort of 29s, 30s, still getting stuck here. They're still trying to sell it lower. We're not breaking lower yet. Give you a readout on the mag. Tesla 1.40% down. Nvidia 1.56% down. Microsoft 1/3% down. Meta 2.77% down. Google 1.92% down. Amazon 1.57% down. Apple 0.5% down. I mean, it's not looking good out there. A lot of that damage was done pre-market, remember. VIX holding and basing at 27s now. So if it holds this level, it's going to try and drift up to the 28s. If it breaks that, we're going 30, 31s. Buy stepping in there at the 100 level. You can use that as an over-under now for short term. Maybe some of you are short. I'm just unwilling to get short down here. Do. Sorry, folks, nothing for me to do here. Just got to wait. If you are short and you do break lower, you can want to watch these gamma levels, but really your main target would be 970 or obviously 24,000 at 970. I'm just really not willing to get short down here at the moment. Maybe I'll consider it if we build out lots of trap bulls, but I'm not seeing that right now. I think there's probably more likely to see shorts come in at the lows and get caught for a little squeeze back up. So back into this top side of this range, there are some imbalances up here into 130, 140. Still fading up there, top side of the range. Again, there's some imbalances, 130, 140, if they want to come and fill them. You are not breaking under previous week close here. And if you are short those lows, I'd be concerned if you keep bidding there and holding. There was a buyer that stepped in at 100 and he's held the market so far. Retesting him again now. You cannot break below him, not yet. It might well come, but at the moment that 100's a big level down there. And you've seen a bit of absorption down there take place. If you break below that, you've got a good shot of a new low of day, but again, it's not something I'll be taking. Here's the 100 test. So if you stay heavy here, you've got a good shot of a break of the lows. There you go. There's your break. And really now you want to target this overnight low Right, you want them to stay heavy at 100 to move into 70 and then 45s and below. If you're going to trade that, any reclaim of 100, I'd be very, very aware about you guys getting stuck who are trying to trade the lows, because I can see some of you talking about shorting the lows. Again, it's a trade that can work. It's just not something I'd be willing to take. But hopefully it works for you guys who are short and never want to see anyone lose. But you want to see 100 stay heavy on a retest, because that's where the buyers came in. And you need it to stay heavy, and you need it to break down underneath the overnight lows. Otherwise, it's a little internal sweep, and a reclaim of 100 will get a little bit trappy for you guys. And I'm just going to wait. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and hopefully we'll get the move. So now you're looking for that move down to 70s for you guys that are short. Here's the move down to 70s, and hopefully you can break 70s. You stayed heavy at 100, which is good. You break 70s, then you should move into the 24,000 evens. Here you go. Here's the move to 70s. There you go. Good, nice. Make sure you've covered some into that, please, those of you who are short. And then you can hold for 24,000. And again, it's the same level, folks. You must not let this reclaim 100. All right, you must not let it reclaim 100. Hopefully calling it for you at least helps. It's just not something I'm willing to take. It's a choice, right? It's a choice. There's your 100. I can show you on the book. Where are we? This guy here, the 100 guy, came in, all right? At the 100 lot, we had big delta here, numerous orders there from pre-market as well. You've now washed this low, this pre-market low, all right? And if you come back in front of 100, you're going to see a squeeze back up. So they need to protect 100 to get you down into those 24,000s. Here comes the retest of 100. Now, if you reclaim 100, I'd be very, very concerned for you guys who are short. That's why you had to pay yourself some into that low. Why did I say a break of 70 if 100 stays heavy could go to 24,000? Because those are buyers' stops. So if the intention is to actually go down there, these buyers become sellers. If the intention is to absorb the tape, then they're absorb and do this, all right? Which is why you pay yourself some into that. But if they break lower here, which they're not doing, they had the opportunity to break lower. You're not seeing that, right? You're not seeing that, which is why I said you must pay yourself some into that, and you must watch this 100, because if you get through 100, I'd be very conscious or cognizant of a potential squeeze. So you just tapped 100 again there. Still 100 is staying heavy, and they are adding liquidity higher though. I'd just be concerned about that. Up to 112s and then through 112s. Some fresh orders just come on the book at 125, 130, 137, 150. So here's the 100 into the 112 kind of level. It's where they've got some sellers stacked. If they break this, they've added liquidity higher for a squeeze. So just be aware of that. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable being short down here. That's why I haven't taken the short today down here. Here's the lift. So they're going to try and get to 125, 137, unless they can absorb this 112 level, which we've just lifted into where those orders were. They're trying to absorb it. Buyer's trying to come back on the tape the other way now. Good absorption there. You're in a tight range here though now. What a boring start to the day, given the size of the move in the Globex. What a boring start to our day. All right, here's the potential squeeze to 25 and above then. Zoom this in so I can try and see the players for you. And you've got imbalances up to 30. And if you start breaking over that New York Open, then I think we get the move back to where I'm looking for. Here you go. Here's the imbalance to 30. That's why I said, for me personally, I wouldn't short the lows, but it's, you know, it's each to their own, right? All right, filled the imbalance to 30 or 40, sorry. All right, this guy here. And if we lift through the New York Open, they're going to try and lift all the way up here. So we've got value area lows moved down for the current week now. Value area low is now in with this 24-hour VWAP. So I'll be watching this guy here. God, come on, Alex. This guy here. All right, I'm going to move this slightly up a bit as well. This node's a little bit better up here. All right, so these are the two levels I'll be watching, ideally for the first short location, either here or here, and if we squeeze through all the way up here. There you go. So they're going to try and come for that New York Open. They're into the imbalance, 140. That imbalance is now completely filled in 140. So we're efficient. And the question is, oh, sorry, I've left you down here, haven't I? My apologies. If we break this and base above, all right, you can think about this. All right, there's the undercut coming back in. This move here is possible. And here, I'm going to try and wait for the short. That's what I'm going to try to do. So New York Open coming. So if you're long, you want to be taking a partial into this New York Open. And if you get the squeeze through, we're going to come right to the upside. Here's the New York Open. Sellers coming in here aggressively. If they get absorbed, they will be forced to stop out. And the sellers just came in aggressive at 55.75. Here's the absorption. Here's the breakout. All right, so you want to pay yourself here, and we can go right back to the upside now. Here you go. All right, so hopefully I stopped you guys getting short of the lows. The next move will be into sort of 206s. And then once we get up there, from that point on, I'll consider short locations once we get up into these, like I talked about, these two locations. There you go. Boom, boom, boom. There's the squeeze. All right, took a piece long at the New York Open here just for this move. Had to pay myself something. All right, beautiful. Up into this area. I want us to get a bit higher. Big seller coming on the tape at 80s. I want us to get a bit higher. I'm not ready to short yet. I really would like to come and clean out some of these levels here. We know NQ's been a bit of a bitch the last few days, not cleaning them out. But ideally, all right, I want to see how we operate here and here for a sell. All right, back down. That was what I was looking for pre-market. They can still reload this long if they really want to. I really hope that's not it. If that's it, I'm going to be very upset. But I'd be watching 55s now. It's where the last seller came in. All right, if bulls defend to 55s, then they're going to try and trade back through 78s. All right, which is where that big block came in. So I got long just for a scalp from that New York Open squeeze through. Sold it already out. It's just a scalp because it's not a trade I really want. What I really want is the short once we get through it. So you can see the importance of liquidity, how we build and use liquidity, right? They had the chance here. Again, they had the chance here to dunk it down. They didn't. They used the stops. The buyers became sellers. They paired off with market makers become buyers. They equaled it out. We came back into that 100 level. That was the big level. Look where the squeeze comes from, 100, right? It comes from 100 because they couldn't defend it, all right? So it was a big level, that 100. It was your previous week close. It's your current day point of control. And it was the level where all volume was coming in, trying to absorb the tape. Once we got back over them and a seller did try and defend it, he's now getting squirrel. He's already got squeezed out. We now have like the 100 lot seller at 56s. All right. So we're doing this sort of dance at 56s. I think we've got a chance to move higher still. I really want to let this lift. I don't want to be early on the short today. Here we go. Here we go. I think we're going to move higher. This is good. This is what we want to see. Beautiful. There you go. Really nice. So again, this guy here, understand, these sellers here are getting squeezed out. So you had 100 lot come in at 55s. You had another big lot come in at 78s. We're squeezing them out. We're coming into the 24-hour VWAP. And the current week value area low. Now it's from this area here and here that I'm interested in the sells, right? Maybe previous day low. Is that previous day low? Yeah, I think it is. So these are the areas where I'm starting to get interested in potentially selling this market back down. The bigger the squeeze, the better, right? I don't want structure. I want a over ambitious squeeze up, and then I can think about the sell. Do I look from volume from previous week and developing week, or consider 5 day? I look at previous week and developing week, but I have all my profiles on there, right? So I have like the last, you know, however many weeks of profiles on there, I leave them on there so I can always just have a quick look back and be like, what was their point of inflection? What's an important area where this market has reacted before, where liquidity has been built, maybe where CTAs have some key levels? They all become relevant, but obviously the newer the volume, the more important it is. Right, you can see we're doing this dance into VWAP. ES is above its VWAP, by the way. I'm going to see if ES can get up into 616s. I really don't want this to fail yet. I really, really, really don't want this to fail yet. I'm very close to taking short up here, but I think we need a little bit higher first. I'm not going to answer questions for a bit, chat. You guys are pounding me with questions, and I actually need to wait for my setup to come in now because I'd like to make some money. Come on, squeeze this higher. Don't be done with it yet. It's not that I'm being rude. I will get to the questions afterwards. I really don't want to miss trades by teaching or answering questions when I've been patient for the first 20 minutes already. Come on, lift up. Lift, 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 lift. Get your ass up there, please. We are very close to the pivot. That's why I'm like, I don't want to front run it. All right, so we're watching this. Think about where we broke down from. These were buyers' stops. All right, we're coming right back into these closes, into the current week value area low, and into this node here. All right, and I'm interested in a sell somewhere here. All right, if we get through that and base, then we're probably going to go previous day value area low. That would be my last opportunity to sell. If they reclaim that, I'm not touching this market. No flipping chance I'm touching this market if we reclaim previous day value area low. Do not want to play that chop we were in yesterday. Did a good job of avoiding most of it. Caught a nice long with the team at the end of the day and before the MOC. Here they go. Still holding really well here, so hopefully we can get a second leg higher. All right, what I'd like is a second leg higher, which would probably be a measured move. That would be beautiful if we can do it. And this is previous day low. Get somewhere up there, it'd be great. Here we go, beautiful. Filling the 200. Let's keep going. Here's VWAP. I'd like a little bit more with some excess, please. We're starting to see some excess up here. A little bit more would be great. Higher the better. Higher the better right now. There's VWAP. Higher the better right now. I don't think they're done with it yet. Where did these sellers come in? 78. Seeing some excess here. I still think we can squeeze higher. Need to see more aggression come in on the tape. Maybe sort of 250s, 285, somewhere up there, potentially. Here we go. Definitely seeing buying coming in here and starting to get stuck. ES into previous day low. This is starting to perk my interest, this area. All right, let's see. The big level here is 78s. All right, 178. That's where sellers came in. So we'll see if we start letting go of that. Could be look above and fail above the orb kind of thing. Trump speaking in a few minutes. Is that true? Fucking hell, does this guy ever shut up? A meeting about a meeting about a meeting. We already won the war, but we're still at war. We won the war, but we need a deal. But if they don't do a deal, we're going to obliterate them. Even though I told you we already obliterated them, we're going to obliterate them more. Just shut the fuck up, mate, and let us trade. Jesus Christ. Just for one day. Can we have some action without you opening your gob? Just, we all know what you're going to do. You're going to do it the weekend. So just let us have the Thursday, eh? You've had every other day this week. Can we just have the Thursday? Right. Let's see if they can keep coming higher. Iran calls negotiations a deception. That's what they've come out and said. That was 46 seconds ago. I mean, you're just going to see just constant back and forth. ES through previous day low now. So if you are still long on ES, your next target would be PDC if it could get there. You're asking a lot if it could get there. But if he is actually talking 2 minutes, I don't know if that's true, then who knows what's going to be said, folks. You know, did he just buy the dip again and he's going to come out with a conference saying the deal's done, war's over? 1 million point candle higher. I don't know, folks. I have no idea. That's the kind of market we're in right now. All right, coming into some levels of interest. Remember, previous day lows up here. We're back inside current week's value at the moment. The red level is a higher volume node from the current week. Still perking my interest. ES failing into previous day low there. We're back testing VWAP here still. I still think 178 is the big level. I'd like an entry higher. I'm not seeing what I want to see yet. Definitely some excess up there at 24s and 22s. Here's the test of VWAP. We last had a buyer come in here at the whole number 200. Okay, so he's talking at 10 then, is he? Okay, well, we have to be aware of that then. If he's talking in 5 minutes, I'll know if he's talking in 5 minutes because the book will start clearing out, I would imagine. Still holding these sort of 200 levels right now. Again, I think 178 to 150 is the big level. The pullback can come there and still hold. Still they're absorbing around it. Let me check financial juice. Oh yeah, I've got him speaking as well. See if I can get a link up from get this link up then. Still basing here, folks. Buyers have come in at 11s for a couple of attempts here, and they're starting to get a little bit stuck. So I definitely say 13s and 11s. We've seen buyers get stuck now, but we're still just sort of basing around VWAP. I want to see how we act at a back test of 78s. Tempted to put a piece on here for that move to 78s. Here we come. Here's the move towards the 78. So it'd be 88 and then 78 where the sellers are. And here you go. Here's the 78 move. So I've got a piece on for this move. And if we absorb here, I'll just take it back off. Everyone's watching that 78, so they know it's a big level. If we lose 78s, we're going to come back down into sort of 60 and 55s. Here we go. Get through 78s, beautiful. Right, watching this down into 60 and 55s. Move my stop down with it. Don't want to see it reclaim 87s here where that last sell came in. Please don't reclaim 87. If they reclaim 87s, I'll take it off because it means we're going to come back up for the 11s, fill the imbalance. And then we can always look for another short. And the timing is going to be hard if he's actually talking at 10. Really good. Looking good here. Beautiful. Here's 60s. Can we get a retest of 55s here? And if we go inside 55s, we're really well positioned. Beautiful. Beautiful is 55 check. Pay myself a little piece here. Really nice. Back inside now of the orb. And we'll see if we can come right back down to 100s now, folks. Really good. Yeah, I took the short. Like I said, I'm going to take a piece for the move to 78. I'm out now because we've reclaimed 78. So I joined for the move to 78. Once we broke 78, I paid myself some into 60 and 55s. And I'm out now because we've reclaimed 78. So we have an imbalance. Like I said, if they come back through 78, we have imbalances and they're come and check 12s. Basically 10 and 12 13s, which is where they are now, where those buyers are. So we just held the opening range. So we traded back down to the open range. Think about this. Buyers got caught here and we traded this and 78. There was a big seller here. So we traded this to this to this to this, covered. They've reclaimed 78, so we're out. They come back to where these buyers were, and they might complete this move up here now. And you've also got Trump coming to the podium. Let me see. Still not here. I was going to say, if I missed it, I've got it live on my screen, but he's still not. It's not there yet. Put him on my side monitor here. So you can see the rotation. I'll show you in a second once I can sort YouTube out so I can see this guy. How can I close chat? There we go. All right, this was your rotation. Once we lost these buyers at these sort of 10s and 12s, we traded down to these 78s. All right, once we lost 78s, we came and tested with 150s. All right, which is why we're covering into where this seller was. They protected opening range down here, this imbalance, which is also New York view up, found a bid, went straight through 78. So you take the rest off at 78. You don't hold and wait and see. VIX letting go of 27s here. So if VIX does want to do the downside move, it has a gap fill down towards 25s here. And our gap fill on NQ would be right the way up here if they're going to do it. Which this would be the last opportunity to sell. If they get through this, I am not interested in playing the market. I do not want to dither with this market in here. No, thank you very much. All right, so the sell needs to be here or nothing. And there are long opportunities back up, like we did take these longs this morning back through that New York Open. It's the same long opportunity. We've just held it. I'm not going to take the longs. I'm going to wait for the short. I took the long from here to here. I'm not, or didn't get that far. I'm not going to take the longs up to these. All right, I'm going to wait for sales to come back in. If we go mega bullish, it will be because he says something. All right, it'll be simple as that. The gamma levels are real. Yeah, I mean, we didn't actually quite get down to them. Did ES get into them? 650 SPY held. That's your big level right now on the spiders for gamma. And that was 575 on the ES, which was pre-market. It held. Yeah, order book is still full because nothing's happening. I've got him up. It's cabinet meeting set for 10 a.m. But there's nothing happening. I'm watching the Associated Press YouTube channel, so it's there, but the feed's live, but nothing's happening. You got the long here. Nice. That's really nice. It's a great long. It's where I exited, so it made sense. It's very quick. They held the orb, right? And remember, we have undercut this, so the question is, how far up do they want to print it today, basically? All right, are we going to come into this and sell? Are we going to see this, or are we going to reclaim and come to this and sell? Or are we going to reclaim this and just complete this whole move, close the gap, reclaim, come into neutral, gamma level, and just chop here again, which is what we've done the last few days. Remember, this is your chop zones where I don't want to trade up there. You can see it. Really don't want to be trading up there. Needs to lift a bit more now. The thing is, I think the market's going to get. Don't take offense to this, people. All right, just please put your politics in your bag for a minute and just think about this, just from market-wise. Market's going to get bored of this soon. Right? There's only so many lies you can tell. This is happening and it doesn't happen. This is going to happen. It doesn't happen. Like I say this and Iran says this. They're going to get bored of it. Right? There's going to be a time soon where they start ignoring what's said, because they're just going to be like, well, we're calling you bluff because you're just getting in the way of the market. So that's the other thing you need to be aware of. If he comes out and says, yeah, we're doing a peace deal, I wouldn't be surprised if the market just calls bullshit on it, because it's happened numerous times this week. And if you heard Levitt yesterday, I mean, that doesn't sound like a peace deal. Sign it or we'll kill you. You know, that's not a peace deal. So the market probably going to call bullshit. The fact that you're sending paratroopers in doesn't look like a peace deal. So I think that is going to start to become an issue if they keep saying the same narrative, but we're not seeing signs of it actually happening. So it doesn't matter which side of the fence you sit on, just from a neutral point of view of how the market moves. You know, there's only so many times you can say the same thing without evidence. So we'll just see. No, you're supposed to be speaking now. 10 a.m. I've got it up here. Nothing's happening. Either way, I'm waiting for them to lift up at this point. Here they come. All right, higher the better now. So into this first red block, which is just a volume spike off the current week developing profile. The higher the better at this point. The more bulls we get caught into this, the better, if we're going to look for the fade. Maybe some of you are long from here or the inverse head and shoulder. We are bullish on lower time frame, and the flow zones are printing bulls. All right, we are bullish on lower time frame. I'm looking for the sells in these kind of areas. That's just what I'm going to focus on today, because we've left volume trapped. That's the only reason. So I'm looking for the bulls to walk the market up there and then get stuck. Please don't that be it, because that really was not very nice if that's going to be it. Not quite coming into the area. So Apple gone red on the day, by the way, as is Microsoft. Sorry, red on the day. Red to green on the day. Apple 0.69% up. Microsoft the same, 0.69% up. Both gone red to green. We're going to write the VWAP now. If that was excess, I'm going to be upset. Down to the 78s again. Same levels as earlier, where they will try and bid and protect. If they lose the bids here, we move lower. Oh, this is going to be frustrating. They're going to make this very hard to trade by the looks of it, just like they have all week. 78, big level. Big level. You can see we just traded right into it. We lose 78. We're going to test 63 and 55s again. We reclaim 90, then we should shove up to 210s. I really want this higher before I think about doing anything. Still no news conference. I don't see what the point in these are. This is the thing. It puts the market on edge to wait, and then they don't turn up. No, Trump has not talked yet, guys. It drives me mad. What did I just say? He's not talked yet. He hasn't turned up yet. I don't see the point of these. He doesn't turn up. Has Trump talked yet? Come on, man. Please. Please. Or what you could do, use Google. You know, it's there for you. You can always do your own research. Or you could get the link up yourself. Right, I've told you where it is. Associated Press. You could always look yourself. You could probably turn CNN or CNBC on. You could do lots of things other than just asking me. Okay, 78 still. If we break 78s, we're going to traverse down to 62 50s and 55s again. But it's still absorbing around these 78s. You can see it's a huge level, this 78. I'd love to be short in this market right now, but it just hasn't quite got to the area. I'll watch 210s, and if we pop up and fail 210s, I'll watch that. 78s here. They keep testing 78s over and over and over and over again. If we lose this, we're going to come 50s, and then you're going to force me to join late, unfortunately. Okay, guys, I'm losing patience here. Here you go. See this? It's not 4 p.m., is it? It's 10 a.m. Eastern, which is right now. It's live. We're waiting for it. It's the last time I'm going to say it. Please, please, guys, no more. Right, 78's down to 62, starting to take place. Underneath the 54s, we go back inside the opening range, and we probably wash right away back down to 100 at that point. But if they keep absorbing 78s, they're going to come pop up to the 211s, 212s, which is where they left an imbalance on this last sell. I have no position yet because we haven't come into a level of interest for me yet. Trying to lift to these imbalances and VWAPs. Those last buyers came in, remember, at the sort of 12 level. So we're testing those into those imbalances. There's still so much liquidity left higher. And if we get through 16s, they probably try and re-squeeze it for a new high. What a boring New York session. Back to 78 test here. So we filled, well, we didn't even fill the imbalance. We were short of filling the imbalances there. We sold VWAP there. We didn't get to the imbalance. We're at 78 again. Again, no change here. They're still trying to bid 78s where that seller was. So they're trying to keep that seller stuck at 78. Now into the imbalances finally. Like I said, the buyers were up to sort of 13s. If you break through 13s and 20s, you should see a new high of day. right into those buyers, back down to VPOC probably here. Just untradeable at this point. Maybe you want to play short here, but not for me. It's not the short I want. I want up here or a backside fade. Don't mind either, but ideally higher the better. Well, yeah, I mean, like lots of people are too scared to do anything, because what would you do given what's happened? All right, given the manipulation that took place Sunday, Monday, right? Given what we've seen since of, threats and escalation and saying one thing but doing something else. I mean, how can we be risk on? How can you be risk on in this market? Imagine you're a hedge fund, you've got billions of dollars you want to put to work, right, in the market. You try to put some of that to work Monday, and then you're seeing troops being sent there, right? And you're seeing sign this or we'll bomb you. You have until, I mean, the fifth day is Saturday, right? Saturday evening. So you've got until Saturday evening. I mean, it's very hard to be risk on when we're saying one thing and doing another. Right? It doesn't matter about your political views. You have to keep those out of it. It's more about what's being said and what's being done. If they don't match up, very hard. It doesn't. We're fucking little fish. Do you know what I mean? We're talking about whales here. How are whales going to feel confident about putting millions and millions and millions, if not billions of dollars exposed? All right, up to this 100 lot at 235. The squeeze is on here, and then see if they can get up to previous day low into this red box, and then I'll start being interested here and here. It's what I'm waiting for. Waiting for the lift into those to start to be interested. Oh yeah. Just make sure you keep zooming out so you understand where we are. All right, higher time frame. Where are we? This is the question, right? Do we build out a flag to break down, or do we build out a second leg to break down, or is that second leg then absorbed after a sweep and we go right back up? All of these are possible, which is why I'm saying they are talking about them all. They are all possible based on the structure we have in front of us, because we have a range. We have the ability to back test and leave the range. We have the ability to reclaim the range. All right, both of those are possible. Do I ever have a sale on my indicators? No, I don't. I'm sorry. Very, very rare. Sometimes I have a sale go on, but the last one was before Christmas. What's the vertical volume blue thing? Anchored volume profile. It's volume. You just said it. Volume, right? Anchored volume profile. What indicators do I use for key levels? Well, my daily and weekly levels are on my Flowzone Pro. So most things you're seeing are here. And then the boxes I draw on myself. Any supply box or volume shelf I draw on myself. I'm not going to, guys, please just, I'm not going to keep answering stuff. I'm starting to get annoyed. Like, what volume node is this from? What volume? We've gone over it all. If you've joined late, I'm not going to keep going over the same stuff. Nodes are from previous days and previous weeks, and some of them I'll draw on as we go through the sessions through current day. This is why I say you need to get here before the market opens. I go over everything I'm looking at 9:15 to 9:30. If you're flicking through PW, Ninja Trader, Top Step, you're going to miss the analysis that I do, and I'm not going to keep doing it all the time. I'm really sorry. Can I just show my indicators? What are you talking about, mate? Flowzone Pro and Gex and VWAP. That's it. All right, that's it. Chat, you are on one today. Okay, back down to test towards the 78s again. So we're building out a range here. Still nothing from DTJ. No, DJT, sorry. So testing this 78 level again towards it. We're building out liquidity 92 to 78s. If they force me to take it short here, I'll take it. But I really don't want to take it up here. I'd much rather this market moves higher first. And it's still absorbing 78. So no, it's a big level. If we lose 78, we can move to 162, 154. If we lose 154 and value area low on the day, we can expand lower into 100s. But at the moment, we're trying to move value back up. And this 78 level is massive. You can see we've just tagged it again and held. Do I think Bookmap and Footprint is necessary? Or is just one enough? It's personal choice, isn't it? Like, maybe one is enough for you. Maybe you need both. Maybe you don't like either. Like, it's just horses for courses. It's whatever you feel comfortable with, my friend. There's no rules. For me, I could probably trade off Bookmap alone, but I really like the delta profile that you can get in Footprint charts. But it's personal preference. Maybe you need none of it. Maybe you don't like any of it. Maybe it feels like too much. We are stuck here. Unfortunately, this is what we get in New York at the moment because Globex gets incredible moves, so we have to digest it. Apple really having a day now, 1.29% up, really impressive. Still long in all my Apples, so don't mind. I wouldn't mind it coming a bit further down, but because it's got no AI exposure, it's been strong. All right, held 78s again. Maybe we can get up into these blocks that I'm looking for. Maybe we're just going to pin it in this box forever. It's completely boxed in. That's what you've got right now. Bathroom break and it would go. Yeah, I don't need it yet though, unfortunately. Just want a little lift up here to sell into. Yeah, exactly. Box, 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 box. That's all we're getting. But we're not even going box to box. We're just building a box out. We've now been here, really. When did the 78 level come in? 9:45. We've been there 45 minutes already. And basically, it's 78 to... Well, it's basically a 40-point box for 45 minutes. Why not sell small here and add later? What's giving you confidence to sell here at the moment? You're middle of this box range where you know they keep absorbing 78s. We have a little bit of excess here, but not much, and we didn't complete the rotation. It may very well be that you're right, okay, even if it's right, but you're not going to get confirmed right unless we do that. So all you're doing is putting risk on, and it could just as well do that. So I'm not going to put risk on in an unfavorable position. If I'm going to short sell, if I'm going to get an ideal entry, I'm going to need to see something like this, all right, to get an entry on. And then if we lose 78, I can think about adding some for this downside pressure, right? If we come up here and we reclaim, I won't be selling that because then they'll be looking for this move here. Previous day value area low, previous day close. I'm certainly not just going to start like putting stuff on because I feel like clicking, right? We're building higher lows, not building higher highs because we have excess, but we're getting quite tight in here. Been some big aggressive selling up here. 209s. So I'm just like sort of having a look on the book. 211 lot at 209s was sold market. 367 lot at 200 was sold market. It's aggressive selling. What's the giant red candle on my screen? It's the gamma. All right, so these were the put walls this morning. All right, this was the hedge. They were hedged down to here, so we expected some kind of lift there. All right, the neutral zone is right up here. All right, so we're in negative gamma here. But if they wanted to be really nasty, they'll come up for this. So, right, back to the 78 level. Still nothing from Donald. I wonder if market's going to get bored here soon of waiting. Range traders having a hell of a week, yeah. I mean, even this it's not something I would trade as a range trader either, really. All right, testing 78s again. I'm watching these same levels again in case they're going to start letting go of it. Which is not ideal. It really is not ideal. PA sucks. Yeah, it's not the best at the moment, folks. Just got to be patient. It will come. Honestly, it will come. It's just whether you're going to be willing to sit here. Right, it will come. We're starting to just see this. It's going to come. I'm watching 78s still. 78 test. Do they absorb again, or are we going to let go? It feels like they want to let go this time. They're getting a bit heavier in here. They're trying to aggressively sell this down to 50s at the moment. Here you go. If they resell 78, I'll consider it. Resell 78 to 90, I'll consider playing short. Here's the move to 78. You're going to come to 90. I'll consider it. I'm still not in. I'm just considering it. If I see what I like on the tape. Buyers coming in here. I'm not seeing sellers walk down. They've still left their orders all up at 210, 235. They're not really that interested at the moment. But I'd say if they sell 90, I'll consider it like I talked about. Still not seeing sellers walk down. No sell side pressure. No absorption. Here's the 90 check. There's the sell side pressure. All right, let's see them. No, they're not ready. I don't think they're ready. They just reabsorbed. There's 90 again. And I would say if they break where they are now, 92s, they go right back upside. So I was really considering it there, and then they didn't step down. They looked like they were going to shuffle down, and they didn't. So they've let it back through. No sell side pressure. Nothing's changed. Literally nothing's changed. And back to VWAP. This is going to be like a one and done or a two and done day. Ironically, most of the money was made on the long. Ugh. Seems like a range day. I don't know, man. I think it's too early to say that. I think it's a little too early to say that. The only thing that concerns me is we've undercut and turned inside. I think there's sell pressure coming. It's just when. And the longer we've just, like, if they say 10 o'clock meeting and they're not here for now half an hour, you've got to understand, like, it's very, 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 very hard for the big firms to get net long or net short before we know what's going on, right? So, like, everyone, like, you got to understand, we've only been open an hour. We've been waiting 30 minutes for this guy to come and talk. Once he talks and he's done talking, maybe we'll have something to play with. Imagine being, like, net 100 million long right now, and he comes out and said, yeah, they're not willing to do a deal. Troops are going to be there by Friday evening. All out assault coming. All right, it's fucking night time, isn't it? Like, you've lost everything. So there's no way people are willing to do that, because it does feel like flipping a coin right now. Well, okay, not net short, okay, but like if they're heavy puts and not net long, let's just put it that way then. And some firms are net short, by the way, not on big caps, but you do have firms which are, their job is to be net short. But yes, you would be right, not on large caps. Okay, 78 again. So rejecting VWAP, rejecting 78. Again, I guess if they reject 1978 now, we could think about it. But again, it's very hard to think about this trade right now. It just feels like we're just going to dance and dance and dance. $78 to $90 again. No, how can... I don't get you guys. How can we take the Tyson trade? If IB's here, and IB lows here. How can we take the Tyson trade? Have we come up to test this since we just made it? No. We haven't tested either side. Remember, Tyson trade is trading an edge in or trading an expansion out. It's not trading the mid to the edge. The mid to the edge trade comes if, for example, you're short, you're cover, and you get a full TP down here. It doesn't come as a fresh money position for that. You don't want to trade mid-range, right? It's just asking for trouble. How does today's volume compare? I don't know. You'd have to have a look on Edgeful or something that would give you a volume stat for this time of day, because I can't compare today's daily volume to a normal daily volume. But I mean, our mean is about here. Doesn't look too dissimilar to yesterday, to be honest. Looks very similar. The mean per M1 looks about the same. All right, 78 to 90 rotation. This is fun. Any trades today? Yeah. For me, I was long after the sweep and a reclaim for this move here. And I think we might have played short one of these shorts back down to 78, and then that's it. Now I'm just going to try and wait. I think there's a chance for this move here, but it would be better if we did it from one of these. It would be much better. And obviously, if we break out the short, we're going to have to respect this. From any of these, we're going to have to respect this because we've been here a long time now. Sellers starting to try and walk down. For the first time today, I've seen some limits kind of follow down a bit more. We're right at that level. We're right at 78. Buyers trying to come in here at the 78 to save it again. Here we go, cabinet meeting. So he's talking about the TSA stuff at the moment. Right, it's the let go 78 to 50. I'm in a small sell here versus 78. Just in case they want to do it now, it's less than ideal. Holding value area low on the session already. So watching 78 and 90. As long as that stays heavy, I'm okay. But want to be very careful here. We're at value area low. We're at that big seller earlier at 55s. They're still absorbing there for now. If we get under here, then I'm going to be looking for that rotation to 100. But at the moment, we keep getting stuck here. We've got to be very aware of that. Here we go, Epic Fury. All right, get on with the announcement, mate. We don't need your life story. Come on. 78.90 test here. If we get back through this, I will cut above 90 or above 91. Good rejection. Same speech for 3 weeks now. Come on, mate. All right, out of this now for me. Back to 78s again. Right, if they lose this, we're going to come 100s. Let's see if we have another go at this now. Here we go. Got to stay heavy now inside this range. Don't want to reclaim of 55s, really. Definitely don't want to reclaim of 78 and 90 again. We've done an internal sweep here, have we? No, we've gone wick to wick at 39s. We've got to drop under that 39 to the move to 100. Watching this at 90. Still not even filled me. Hung out at 90 for a fill. Taking it off because we didn't get filled. Well, I didn't get filled. Still holding value area low, New York opening range. We've tapped inside of it, but we couldn't fade down to the 100, so we're not expanding down to this node. You've got to be very, very careful here. I didn't get the fill there. I was looking for a pop-up to 100 to sell back down to here and here, but this is what you're looking for. Lots of imbalances down here into 100 and under, guys. Into 110s down to 80s. They can fill a lot of imbalances. So you want to cover some down into that if you're short. You've got to find a way to get into this. Here you go. Here's the move. They got an undercut here. Be very careful of this level right here. Hopefully you get a wash under this. Be very careful at 39s, and hopefully you can get the move down to 100s now. Here you go. Nice. All right. So you can partial sum here. Look for the move to 100. There's the undercut and the soak. You do not want this to reclaim 55s. If you reclaim 55s, you're going to go 78s again. So ideally, this stays heavy at 55 for you. You can TP some at 100, and then you can look for low of day under 100. So you pay yourself some here into 39s if you haven't already. Then pay yourself some into 100, and then you can look for these levels down here. Do not let this reclaim 55. Certainly don't let it reclaim 78, 90. Here you go. It's coming now, folks. Finally, coming into the 100. It's unfortunate we couldn't get that premium sell today where we wanted, but it is what it is. So imbalances coming up here. They start at 114, the imbalances, and they go right the way down to 80s. Really beautiful move here, folks. So you're into the 14 here, so the start of the imbalance. Try and hold some for a lower day break in case it comes, because if you get the lower day break, there's reasons to go lower, especially if he keeps talking about nukes. Yes. We know Trump's talking, guys. We're listening to it. I'm telling you what he's saying when needed. Okay, so there's your 114 tap. Top of the imbalance. Previous week close. This is your like TP area, all right, into here. All right, and then if you get under that, we have a chance to move down into the 24,000s. So the trade now, really, you want this to stay heavy here. TP1 and down into here underneath this. You must pay yourself into that, but you need this to stay heavy on any pop. If they reclaim this, they're going to go 78 real quick. Here you go. His 14s. So you're almost at the hundreds, which is previous week close. Remember, 101, 102 is previous week close. So if you haven't paid yourself already, you need to pay yourself here into this move. This guy's, I'm sorry, this guy's a fucking cretin. You want help and then you're just insulting your allies. You're really not helping yourself, mate. Come on. It's not even that I hate him. It's just like, just stop insulting your allies and then asking for help. Come on, man. Just stop it. NATO's rubbish. The UK's rubbish. Their air force is rubbish. Their carriers are rubbish. Just give it a rest. All right, so your TP hit here. You're right into the previous week close, this white line. Ideally, they lift up, and then you see if they resell it.
So we estimated it would take approximately 4 to 6 weeks to achieve our mission. 26 days in, we're extremely...
His value area low, and this is the retest coming into 55s. If they get through 55s, they're going to go 78s. So this is your chance now. If they trap buyers up here between 55 and 78, you've got a chance of a reshort back down. Here they come. And we see follow through now. Under 100 is the question. 55s again coming. Oh, can I get a fill today? Still need this higher to fill me. Gonna be salty if this does the full move without me. Here they come. They're coming for the lows. Fuck me. Cannot get a fill. All right, so you're watching IB low now, underneath 97s. You can see this shelf here, this green box. He should have trimmed a lot here. And you're now waiting to see if we get down into this and this. Did I take short? No, I've been trying to get filled on a short the whole way down, mate. It just doesn't want to fill me.
We'll just keep blowing them away, unimpeded, unstopped. There's not a thing they can do about it. They can't do anything about it.
It sounds like the war's continuing from what he's saying.
You'd be hearing about it. You'd be hearing about it. You don't hear anything about it. They can't shoot on jets. We have the best military equipment in the world, not even in contest. You see that with Venezuela? They had other equipment, they didn't have ours, it didn't work. Think of it, we did a situation in Venezuela.
Yeah, I'm not chasing either, Troy. I'm just waiting to see if it lifts up and rejects, and then I can get involved. We're seeing some sell-side absorption here into 20s, but there's lots of orders up to 40s to 55s, which is where I want to see price move to and then reject. Right, back up to the opening range high, New York Open, Globex, all right? Even up to 78 I'd consider. It wouldn't be ideal, but some kind of lift up there would be nice. But remember, if we move under previous week close, we're red on the week. All right, so it's a big, big level here. Thank you. I don't understand, and this is genuine, I don't understand, if you want peace, why are you saying we're going to keep doing what we're doing? Previous week close here again. Remember, under here, you probably see the lows of day, and then you can get a wash. So if you're already short, you look good into IB, 24,045, 24,005, 23,972. This shelf here is important, this box, you can see it. Under that, we're very thin, and we can crack. And there's nothing that he said which would give me confidence about being risk on in this market. All right, I'm just telling you from a trader's point of view, we're going to keep doing what we've been doing. We're going to blow them to pieces. Does not encourage a risk-on market, all right? There you go. Big level here. Can they get followed through under this to the low of day?
Blowing up the world, blowing up the Middle East, and blowing up our country, and we did that. And frankly, I thought the oil prices would go up more, and I thought the stock market would go down more. Hasn't been nearly as severe as I thought. I think they have confidence in maybe the American president and maybe the people sitting there understand.
Almost spat my fucking drink out that. How arrogant is that? The market hasn't gone down more because they got confidence in the American president. No, it's because we rotated out of tech into other stuff. Right, here's your low of day test. Oh, fucking madness. Okay, low of day test here. So TP coming up, and then you're looking for a wash down into this big green box, right? Oh my God. Good thing is you're short on relative weakness. All right, NQ is 1.19% down, ES only 0.78% down. So make sure you paid yourself towards this IB, and if you get the IB break, then down here. All right, so the next, if you're not already short, it's not ideal. We could look for something like this and this. If they reclaim this, you want to get rid of your short because they're going to come up and lift, and then we can talk about what next when they do it. It is unfortunate that they did not give me the fill I wanted up here in 50s. All these fills up here, but there we go. Right, IB here, beautiful. There you go, there's your crack, folks. There is your crack, folks. Yeah. Big buyer stepped in there at 32s. So make sure you're covering some into these washes, right? And then you've got your gamma level exposure here at 45. So we washed under that. 2405 is the next big gamma level. And underneath that, you get a negative squeeze, all right? Underneath this, negative squeeze down into this block. Beautiful trade. Those of you who got it, I'm super happy for you guys. Not salty at all. W's in chat if you made some good money on this, and hopefully they stay heavy now. Like I said, you would need to see, if you're staying short, you do not want a reclaim of this. Okay, this must stay heavy. Respect these levels on the way down. Yeah, beautiful. Nice work, folks. I don't think the auction at the low is good. I mean, it is until you see that transition at 32s. I think we might come back for him and cause some pains down there still. ES protecting IB low, so we also have divergence there, so just be aware of that. So here's the retest back towards sort of that block above that we talked about. It's going to become key here. All right, whether they reject this or not. Here's the retest. So you need this to stay heavy if you're short side. All right, if they start reclaiming this block, you do not want to be holding it because it means more of a rotation market, right? If we reclaim this block, we go back up to 78s and 90s. But if we reject this block, then you got a chance to retest 83, 77, IB low, and ultimately you'd love to retest 31s. See if I can get something here now, if we want to play ball. Got a feeler on here. I really want us to move under 77s. If we reclaim PWC, got to be careful. Tapping into it. There's a little imbalance above. They might want to visit 23s, some tiny size. But if we break out of this box, not interested. Let it lift. But I've got feeler short at the moment. He's so much more eloquent, JD. Nice. And this short starting to look good. I want us to move under 78s. I've got to be very careful here. We've got to move under 78s. Do not want to bid in front of 78s here on this short. When am I adding? I'm not adding unless we start to break lower. I will just cut it. If, like I said, I'm small size, playing with house money, but if we break above sort of 125s to 130s, I'll just cut it. Because then I think we're going to revisit 55s and 78s again for the rotation. I'm just trying to play short in this kind of box here, maybe sort of up to this kind of guy here. This. I'm still in this short, watching 70, sort of 80s and 77 50s. Need to see it under there, not seeing it. We might start squeezing here if they don't get that move under it soon. That's why I'm very, very small size.
7 years, Iran has been killing Americans and attacking Americans across this planet. And other presidents had an opportunity to do something about it. And they all warned about how Iran was dangerous, but they refused to act. And this president's not someone that's going to refuse to act.
Might very well squeeze through here. So cutting this early and let it lift up now if it really wants to.
From the very first night of this operation, the president made it very clear.
Can always get back in, like I always talk about.
Now, what I'm talking about is not the people of Iran. The people that run this country are radical Shia clerics. These are religious fanatics. Look what they are doing now. At their weakest point, this is the weakest Iran has ever been. And look at what they're doing. They're attacking embassies. They're attacking hotels. Imagine what these people would do if they had a nuclear weapon. That is an unacceptable risk for the world. By the way, the president's not just doing a favor to the United States and to our people. This is for the world.
I'm not being funny. I'm going to have to say something here. You're talking about Shia extremists, which I agree with, attacking this, attacking that, and you've just quoted Christianity, and you've taken no acknowledgement of bombing girls and women in a school. So, I mean, at least acknowledge where you've gone wrong yourselves. Jesus.
And that is moving forward. Every single objective the president clearly laid out on the first night of this operation is being effectuated.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not pro-extremism or Shia law or anything like that, quite the opposite. But, like, can we have some democracy and ownership, please?
We're not bombing embassies and hotels.
Just some reasonable human beings would be nice on both sides. Okay, if they keep bidding here at 100, then you're probably going to get a re-squeeze. Held the 100. They looks like they want to come up for this now. And if they come up for 50s, again, I'm not in a position now. If they come up for 50s, they've got the chance of lifting to 78s again like they did earlier. So just be aware of that. I think the short's looking worse and worse because it's undercut. So it just depends how high they want to lift it and whether they're willing to step back in. Tyson's a happy man. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know if he's taken it yet. If he's in chat, he'd be looking for this. If he can get it, he'd be happy. They've got a bid here to get that move. Like, for me, there's still the chance of this, okay? We're still in this block. It's just the way we reclaimed that was pretty aggressive. If we come back under here, this is still possible. But if we look at the blocks that came in, all right, we've got a buyer that's just stepped in here. You can see this level here at 100 is key, and these 78s that I talked about. So they can rebid 78s on a pullback, which is why I was looking for that fade down to there. We didn't get it. And the lower day auction does not look great. That is not a great lower day auction. So we might very well come back for that. We will see. The big buyer down there. Oh, Tyson's there. Nope. I've been tilted all day. Blown 3 accounts. Oh, mate. Gotta slow down, buddy, if that's happening again. Let's have a chat later. Here's a 100 test. If we stay heavier here, I'll consider this. It's it's got to come under and reject this. I'm not going to short into it. So I'm just listening to comments here. Okay, watch and see if they reject 100 here for that move lower. Small piece back on. Not going to risk much. 102. Instant washout. Can't trade when they're talking. Yeah, they're all still talking. Oh, I'm glad I kept that tight. I risked like 5 points rather than all that whole thing. So they're now talking about their framework for a peace deal. 15 points coming through Pakistan. Right, watch this now again. Same kind of thing. They reject 100. You're watching for the trade into 77s. Under 77s, you're watching 60 and then 32s. Oh my God. Oh, just stop the dick sucking. Please, just get on with it. Please. Their fucking jaws must be killing all of them. Come on. Just get to the fucking news. Why have we got 5 people saying the same thing? I don't understand. Here's the 100 rejection. You're into the imbalances, though. I want to see the retest of 77. I've got a small piece on again. This is probably going to be my last attempt at this while they're talking. I want to see the test of 77s here. We're into an imbalance here. Here we come. And if we get under 77s, I feel good. So 83 was the last seller. 77 was the last big bid. Under 77, I think we can move down to 32s. And stops moved into the money again. I'm not going to like let this mess around too much. Oh my God, man.
Back then, it was 3 years into a war. Now we're 3 weeks into an operation. But see,
yeah, news anchor, not rookie. I was here. Here's my CV. This is how great I am. But you're even greater than me. Oh my god, it's so boring. It's like it's so predictable at this point.
Targets destroyed, over 140. I think now you're right, Mr. President. Over 150 naval vessels sunk, underground facilities destroyed, their defense industrial base in shambles, and overnight, not only do they not have a Navy, Mr. President, they no longer have a Navy commander. IRGC's Navy commander was killed overnight in operation. So no Navy leader.
So hang on, you've paused strikes, but he died overnight. How did that happen? Thought we were in peace until Saturday evening.
And now that he has taken decisive action, you're asking, well, why did you? It's the same old tired playbook, TDS in your DNA. But the hardworking, God-fearing, patriotic Americans out there.
Why am I selling discount? It's more about the volume that we've created, my friend. All right, it is risky, but I'm trying to play this volume here for the continuation trade because overall, all right, we've left trap volume. Right, I didn't want to sell discount this morning because we needed to build more volume. Now that we've built the volume, I'm willing to try and look for that return back down. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, we've had 2 attempts at it. I'm up nice for the day. Like, I can show you my leaderboard. All right, so flat on all of these, just trading these 2 accounts. All right, these are all my accounts at the moment.
That mission, VP as well, has not changed since day 1.
Oh, is it only on power structure? Okay, my bad.
They shot 2 failed missiles on a target 4,000 kilometers away. For years, they told the world that their missiles could only.
Why so many accounts? Because when the market's in a nice breakout trend, I link them all together and trade them all together for leverage. What sync software do I use? I use affordable indicators. Do I have consistency on funded? Well, the new Apex ones have 50%, but my TPTs don't. No, those are not all Apex. There's TPTs in there. In fact, why is it? Just thought, why is my TPT?
Air support platforms when the enemy has no meaningful air defenses left. Their presence is proof that Iran's air defenses are gone. Their command and control is shattered, their top leaders hiding in underground bunkers,
okay.
while their
That makes sense.
commanders are being crushed in the field. The morale of their fighters plummeting. We see that disconnect daily. They're privately admitting, as you said, Mr. President, very heavy losses. We know that. President Trump has given us a clear mission. Our capabilities are only going up and Iran's are plummeting. We are here to win, and we're full speed ahead. So, Steve, we appreciate your efforts. We pray for a deal, and we welcome a deal. And we have the ultimate deal maker to make it happen. But in the meantime, as I said yesterday, the Department of War will continue negotiating with bombs. War is negotiation by other means. And finally, I want to thank our incredible troops. Our pilots, crews, sailors, refuelers, air defenders, the absolute best of America, the real 1% of our country. This president, President Trump, has your back. And I know this cabinet prays for you every single day. We ask the American people to do the same as they continue in this mission. God bless them. Thank you very much. It's great. I think before I ask Scott to say a couple of words, it would be great if people like the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois.
Nothing changed here. Let me move this up a bit. It's still the volume area, folks. I'm done with having cracks at this. I think I'm going to let him finish. Maybe see if it wants to revisit. All right, this is your edge to edge right now on the day. How long can they yap? A long time. They're still talking, yeah. They're still talking, guys. Have it here. They're still talking.
We did what we did as an example in Washington, D.C., which is now a safe city. All the time, people come up to me in the building, people that work here, they say,
Yeah, this area's chopped. It's why we're building a volume node here. It is. I still think there's a chance to move down, but you know, they've had 2 attempts to squeeze back up. They're failing the top side of this volume area. But it's just a bit hard to trade while they're still talking. They've moved off Iran now, though. They're talking about other policies. Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't see what was changed in that cabinet meeting. The crux of it, so that you understand, is we've obliterated them. I think that was said about 100 times. It's got to be the most used word by Trump this year. We obliterated them. They got no Navy left, no this, no that, no that, no that. They want a deal. We're willing to listen. But if they don't do something soon, we're going to keep doing the same thing, which is like completely destroying them. That's all that was really said. It was said by 5 or 6 different people, but that is the crux of it. They won't have a nuke. We've obliterated them. We'll continue to obliterate them until they do a deal. That's all that's been said. That's the same narrative that we've heard all week. That's very different, right? So that we understand, that's a very different narrative to we're doing a deal, it's going to be done soon, Hormuz is going to be open. All right, that's what was said here. Now it's we're still at war until they sign something, okay? Which is why we're giving the whole move back. All right, there's your Fugazi, and we're back into reality. And we just have to see, folks. I mean, it's a fast-moving market on news at the moment. I've turned him off now because I don't think anything's being said of any importance at this point. Okay, starting to lose 100 again. This kind of shelf here. And now you're testing value area low. All right, so this was the test that I was looking for originally to see how we worked out here into 77s. If we lose 77s, I think you're going to go back down and test this buyer at 32s. So your 77s to 100 is your current rotation. And if you lose this, you're probably going to go 32s. This is value area low for the day. So if you are shorting this, you want to be paying yourself some.
It's hard to believe that that number can be possible, that millions of people came into Dubai. But nobody even tries. We don't have the caravans of thousands, 25, 30,000 people pouring into our border. They come up in caravans.
Why is the chop here at the moment? I start locking in with trading. What? I'm not sure what that question is. Okay, if you fail here, I think you got a shot of moving down to 30, which is where that big buyer came in at the lows. Right, 30 is the big buyer. And if you get under that, 24,000, and I'll be watching 24,000, 24,970. It's why we wanted to try and get short for this rotation here, but you should be paying yourself in this move. Because this is the shelf from earlier, and they lose this, you're going to have a shot at getting to 32s now. And then under 32s, 24K. He's just talking about your border issues in America now. He's not talking about the Iran stuff. I don't think that's going to move market now. Why only 600 likes? Is that all we got? I don't know. Let's have a look. I haven't checked once today. Yeah, we need to get those likes up, folks, because we want to do giveaways. We need 1,200 likes, and we can do some giveaways. Okay, I think I can turn him off. I muted him for a bit, but I don't think anything on TSA's. This TSA stuff's going to move this market at all. All right, so the question now is, all right, do they reject here and complete the rotation? All right, or do they reclaim and go for the squeeze up to these points here? Those are the trades available. For me, like I said, I've been waiting for the short side all day. All right, unfortunately. I mean, that was probably it on the news, unfortunately. Up here would have been the A+ trade. All right, back to back test this would have been A+. Move under this shelf, reject it. Once we rejected that, we just moved straight away. We've never even come back to test this. and we're building out a new shelf here. So all the time we're heavy under this shelf, this is possible. Reclaim the shelf, we go into a rotation day. You look good. You look good. Maybe some of you are still short from up here. I don't know. Probably got out most of your position underneath. $24,250, then new lows. I mean, I don't know if that would be the case now, given that we've cleaned out. If you came to 250 now, it's going to be a bit of a problem, I'd say. All right, you need a rejection lower now. So you need, if you're looking for new lows, you need this or this. If you see a 250 move, all right, that means you're taking out this liquidity. There's got a good chance of testing back up here. If you see 250, you're going to come and take these stops, I would say, at 300, and then you might as well fill the gap. So I would not, if you're looking for the short, I would not want to see it up here anymore. That's what I was looking for this morning, right? I would have liked that move there, all right? But we just got an internal move. I'd be very cautious about it coming up here if you're looking for the short up there again. I think that's very dangerous at this point after doing that, all right? That becomes a possibility to fill these in and back test, just so that you're aware. I wouldn't want to see it at 250 now if I was looking for the sell. I think that would show too much strength. $20,040 massive buyer. I mean, I have them at 30. Oh, you mean a new buyer? Oh yeah, there's 1,000 lot down there at 40. Yeah, well, we'll see if he's down there, if we come down there again. I mean, he's probably trying to, it was probably him down here. I don't know if you guys can see that. This lot down here, 32s. Let me have a look at how big that delta was. Give me a second. Where's 32s? Yeah, it was 308 lot. It's actually at 31.75. So we'll see. 24, where are we now? 90s. There we go. For a beginner, is 15 ticks on a micro too small for a stop loss? Yeah, and it's got nothing to do with your micro. It's got nothing to do with your size, mate. 15 ticks, 4, 8, 12, 16. You're risking 4 points on a trade. How is that going to work for you, mate? How are you going to risk 4 points on a trade in this market with this ATR? 4 points. Your risk needs to be either based on volume or where the trade is no longer right. All right. So if you were going to get short here into 94s, you're going to either need to risk 105s or probably up to these highs here at 126. Like, you can't make stuff up because you're like, oh, I'm only willing to risk 4 ticks. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. The market doesn't care about your RR. It doesn't care about your fixed stop loss. It doesn't care about your cash gain. It doesn't care about any of that. It cares about volume and structure. It doesn't give a you know what about anything else. So if you're trying to do something where, oh, I'm going to try and make, if you're deciding today, well, if we get down here, I've got 100R and I'm going to make $1 million. Market doesn't give a fuck about that. Right? It doesn't care about that. Or I'm going to risk 2 points. I'm going to put my stop there. Well, it doesn't care about that either. It will do this into here. It doesn't do what you want because you've worked out a cash game. All right? It doesn't do that. It moves based on liquidity and volume. So your stops need to be based on liquidity, structure, and volume, and nothing else. Same with your TPs. Right? Why did we TP under here today? Because it was a lower day break. Right? Lower day break. Oh, gosh, it was the lower day break. All right, it was gamma. All right, you can hold runners hoping you get these, but there's no guarantee. Why did we think about trying to play short in here? Because we built volume in here. Right, where would the stop be? Technically this side of it. We come this side of it, probably run up. I mean, ATR can help you see like how fast the candles are moving on whatever time frame you're looking at. But I mean, you could judge it, right? So like, it's very simple. If you were going to get short right now, technically speaking, if you were willing to get short, right, you'd either have a stop the other side of POC or the top side of this range, okay, and you'd be needing to look for IB, gamma, and previous week low, right? That'd be a valid setup. Now, if you were like, oh, I just want to do a couple of ticks, well, it's not going to care, is it? It doesn't care. It doesn't care, right? And if you were going to get long, you'd want to see the break, the hold, and you'd flip this around, wouldn't you? You'd want to see the hold of volume, right? Let's say you got long on a retest of here, holding the underside of this, and you'd target probably VWAP or New York Open or the shelf above, right? Keep it really simple. If volume is low between 120 and 160, does it mean price will fall quickly? 120 and 160. Yes, here, right, we would use this as resistance, right? So you can see every time pop up, sellers are trying to protect this, right? But we can squeeze, if we reclaim, the squeeze can happen through these low volume levels, correct? Because there's not much in here, all right? So we will try and hold that as resistance for a sell. But if those sellers, all right, if they stop out and become buyers, we will get through this very, very quickly, correct? Because we're not thick. We're thick in here, we're thin in here, we're thick in here. Think about how this moved. Right, we build out all this volume. We go straight up from here this morning. Zip. Sideways, 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 which creates this shelf. Right? They eventually lose this shelf. They do a nasty stop run. That is absolutely disgusting. And then we go straight down, sideways, 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 sideways. If we lose this shelf, probably down, right? Which is why I'm saying I would lean short on this, even though you're deep in discount, until you see a reclaim here. There's no long position in my mind. You're fishing, unless you're trying to take that or the IB trade, but you're structurally, all right, it's trying to come down into here. Whether it can do it or not is a whole different ball game. They have got a little shelf here to try and protect these buyers, and that's about all they've got here. This sort of 80 level. That's about all they've got left to hold them up. They did absorb 5 minutes ago down into 72s on the previous 5-minute bar, and they're trying to absorb at 80s, but if they start losing that, they will be in trouble. You're holding shorts from VWAP. I mean, it looks good. It looks good. As long as you paid yourself something, if you got short here, as long as you paid yourself something, you look okay. You just don't really want it to reclaim POC in the top of this shelf. But as long as you've paid yourself something, all right, if you're just holding a runner for this move, I think you look okay. Right? There's no reason, I wouldn't say there's a reason to get out of 100% of the position. If you had prime location short, right, get out if they start reclaiming all of this, all right? But as long, you must pay yourself like 80% of the trade or whatever, right? That's a good move. Pay yourself into the high probability move, and then you can hold a runner. Can we get back to last week's low by the end of the week? I mean, we're not very far away, so yes, but you know, this level here is important, right? Not just because it's POC, because it's previous week close, right? So this level here is important. Right, how we operate around here becomes important. Yeah, I mean, ES protected IB low. We didn't do that sweep. All right, so you've got the 8 a.m., 8:35, 9:40, 10:55 candles still to come and take out if they're going to see sell side pressure. You're at the New York Open, you're at the Globex level, you're underneath the VWAPs on the ES. I mean, we'll just see. But you're definitely seeing some compression down here. Like you might see a squeeze back up soon, and then you have to see how they act because you've had this, 2, 3. You just want to be careful of them getting relief and then reselling it, or maybe just relief into here and then reselling it. Really depends if these sellers are going to step on the gas here like we keep talking about. This is previous week close, point of control on the day. This is the big level. They sell this, they're going to try and attack down here. But again, I'll remind you, 77s is the big level. Right, 77s is where the bid showed up this morning. All right, and we absorbed just under that. The last 10, 15 minutes, we've absorbed everything into 77s and under. If we break 77s and break 67s, I think we come down to test this guy at 31s. Right, so that's, I would stay sell side. Like I said, I don't think there's a long trigger until we reclaim anything, and we've not reclaimed anything yet. There's a good chance to move lower still today, honestly. There was nothing in, again, I'm going to repeat, I don't care who you vote for. I don't vote for anyone. I'm not even from here. But there was nothing in that press conference that suggested we were any closer, right, to ending this war. Now, if you just take your political views out of that, what does that mean? The longer we were there, the worse it is for oil. Fact. That's the only fact we can go by. The worse it is for oil, the higher prices we're going to have for oil in America. Fact. And energy and food goods and everything else. What does that mean? Inflation's going to go up. What does that mean? Consumers are going to feel it. What does that mean? Less spending on products. What does that mean? We're going to price it into the market. That's the only thing I know right now. All right. Until we're done with this. I'm not from here. I'm from the UK. I can't vote in America. To be honest, the last two candidates, I wouldn't have voted either way, and pretty much same in the UK. Like, I certainly wouldn't have voted for the dick that's in charge in the UK right now. He's hell-bent on taking all my money away from me. So, wars aren't always bearish. Yes, correct. But this is, if you go and look at history, everyone's going to tell you in history the wars are good. Go and look at previous wars in the Gulf, which are prolonged multiple months, and look at what happens. All right, don't compare this to Russia and Ukraine and all that stuff. Go and compare it to like wars in the Arabs. Here you go. So here's the failure. Back down, and we're going to test that guy at 30s probably. Let's see if the big lot leaves the tape. Has he already left? He has left the tape already. So the move down to 30s is probably coming here if they stay heavy in and around 70s and IB. All right, so you had a buyer just step in at 77. He's now in pain. That buyer at 77 is in pain. All the time you stay under that buyer at 77, you've got a chance to rotate down to 32s. You definitely don't want Boris back. They're all muppets, honestly. Where are the youthful politicians with some honesty who want to do right by the people? All right, good rejection of IB there. So like I said, I would stay sell side in this. And we can watch 77s again. Look what just happened. 100 lot came flying in. He's now caught. We're trying to trade down into this guy down at 32s. You should pay yourself some money if you're still in the short and see if you can get expansion. ES coming back down as well. All right, so ES right down, still's not swept. All right, they're still clearly protecting that level. The gamma level on SPY is 650. That's your big level. All right, so if you break IB low, SPY, you're looking for 650, which is basically that pre-market low. 575 on ES. Called a unicorn, no such thing. Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. You're totally right. I mean, the thing is, it doesn't matter who you vote for, red, blue, or if from the UK, green or yellow. I think they're always a disappointment, if I'm really honest with you. I don't think anyone, when you look at the mandates and what they actually do, very rarely do they align. UK about as bad as all of them. What do you get? You either get war criminals with things like Tony Blair, or we get absolute dicks in the conservative parties, which is who I've historically voted for, who just treat people like shit and, you know, got us into all this mess with leaving the EU, which has been fun to deal with. And then now you get an uprising of nationalists coming through in the UK. I mean, it doesn't matter which way you look. It just looks like humanity is a disaster. Yeah. Starmer's no Churchill. Oh, he's definitely not. Okay, still staying heavy here. They're trying to absorb this, the sellers. I just wonder if there's one more little lift up here for them to resell up towards that 77s. I'm going to watch it if we come into 77s, how we act. ES still protecting those lows. I think there's one more sort of dunk down, but I'm going to watch to see if we come up to 77s, how we act there. Here's the move towards the 77. So how we act here is going to be very, very key. Do they leave this buyer trapped? All right, this is what's going to matter now. Do they leave the buyer trapped? Here's 73s. Coming right into him. Risks his order here at 77s. Does he start exiting? So he's still caught so far. You can see that swipe into 77s. Got absorbed and resold. So all the time they stay heavy under 77s, they're going to try and rotate lower. All right. If they reclaim 77s, they're going to try and come up for the 100. But at the moment, you are rejecting 77s. And they are going to try, whether they can do it or not, and break 54s, 53s for the move to 30s. Here's 77s again. They're testing 77s. If they break through 77s, you probably get a revisit of hundreds pretty quick. Right at this 77. You can see the importance of this. Big level here. Big over under here. They're trying to resell versus 77 here. You can see it. And they're going to have to move under 50s underneath that last pivot low. So if sellers are going to be aggressive here, they need to defend 77s and they need a breakdown of this for this move. If we reclaim 77s, we're going to come up here pretty quick. Right, how are we doing for like share? Are we any closer to doing a giveaway here? $860. Still far away, guys. We need another 400 likes. Buyers are trying to support the bid here. $77s again. You can see it's very, very, very important level. So where that 100 lot got stuck. If we get back above him, he's comfortable again, isn't he? So that's how I would think about it. There is a buyer starting to try and walk up and absorb this tape, all right? So he's starting to walk up and trying to absorb 70 now. Now he's coming in. There you go. So you can see him on the tape starting to try and move up. We have imbalances here up into 90s. No position for me. Eddie, you can email me info@flowzonetrader.com, my friend. Is he still talking? I don't know. I turned it off. Let me have a look. He can't be still talking. Is he still talking? Is he really? It's insane. I thought he'd be done by now. Is he still going? Let me have a look. What was the world record he set for one speech? Was it like 2.5 hours or something? It's impressive. There he is, still going. So talking about Russia, Ukraine, is he?
And I think that's calming down a little bit. And I think we have a chance of getting it done. But it doesn't affect us thousands of miles away. That's why when I heard the head of Germany say, this is not our war about Iran, I said, well, Ukraine's not our war, we hope. Ukraine's not our war. I thought it was a very inappropriate statement to make. But
You helped, but you said you didn't want to help, and you wouldn't have helped if it wasn't for Biden. Come on, mate. You can't have it both ways, buddy. Does anyone ever call him for his bullshit? Is it ever going to happen?
what's happening there is horrible. 25,000 on our last 2 months ago was 31,000 people died in 1 month, Mark, right? Look, I said it's getting crazy, it's getting worse. Anyway,
Okay, you're above 77, so they're going to try and lift to 100. And if they lift 100, they're going to try and lift all the way up to 120, back to this top side. And you're starting to see compression here. You want to be very, very careful. We talked about you're still in a sell. There's your pivot. These are your internals. Here's your compression, okay? You're starting to see this start to develop here. You're starting to reclaim 77. You're coming into this big old node. And if they get through 100, they're going to come and revisit 120. If they get through 120, they're going to come revisit probably up here, all right? So they will want to sell this. They will want to keep trying to sell this to complete the rotation.
Some people should do that. As an example, in California, every time prices go down, his prices go up because the gas tax is bigger than the tax itself, bigger than the product itself. It hasn't. I mean, we thought about it again.
It's the first thing you said that I've agreed with. Get rid of the gas tax in California. Yes, please.
We had the greatest economy ever. We had the greatest stock market in history. I said we're going to take a little bit of a hit, short-term hit. It's going to end up going much higher than it was, in my opinion. I said we're going to have a great stock market. Nobody thought we could get to 50.
Nobody wants to hold into the weekend. Yeah, I'd kind of agree with you there. Like, because in theory, if he sticks to what he said, the piece, I don't know what you want to call it, the pause on it ends Saturday evening, right? Which is for a reason, because it means they have time to get their troops in. So we either get a deal or we don't get a deal by Saturday, Sunday, and you just get absolute chaos in the market on Sunday open, I would assume. Yeah, $6 a gallon. I mean, and that's not even the most expensive we've had here. We've had it much more. Every time you trade with me, you lose money. That's on you, mate. Like, I don't understand where you've lost money today. I told you not to short here. All right. I told you the long here back up, and we talked about the short up in these locations for the move back down. All right. Must be because you don't know how to trade and you can't position properly. And I'm not insulted by last time you trade with me. If you are here trying to blame me for your errors, your inability to trade, that's on you. And I tell you what, and this is trader to trader, I'm genuinely trying to help you here. The longer you do that shit and try and blame other people for your errors, your lack of understanding, your need to follow someone into a trade, the longer you're going to be unprofitable. The best thing you can do is have a good old reflection, look in the mirror and see where you went wrong and can you follow your trades. Because until that point, my friend, what you're doing is asking someone to hold your hand, do your work for you, and then pointing the blame at everyone else. So I wish you well. You don't need to come back here. I don't need you here, my friend. I'm profitable without you. That's just a fact, guys. Like I said, I've been there before. I remember when I was learning, blaming everyone else. Till you're willing to have a look in the mirror, you're never going to improve. I teach you as I go. Like I've taught you as I've gone the whole day today, like I do every single day. Did we get the A+ short? No. And Q yet again didn't give me the A+ short up here, which I would have wanted. Did they wait for the news, run the stops, then do it? Yeah, they did. It's unfortunate. Did I get filled waiting for the 55s? No, I didn't. So I didn't chase. Like, I can only trade what's available to me. Lots of you guys probably made more money than me today. Friday's gap killing you. The PWC, you mean? Right here. I mean, you got to think this is sentiment. Red on the week, green on the week, right? That's sentiment right there. It's also like some big levels, gamma levels, right? So here's the lift. They're going to come and test 120s now. If they get through 100, they test 120s, through 120s, VWAPs, New York Open, and then right the way up to 190 is possible. Can I reveal the present that Iran gave me? What's the present then? So he's saying that Iran, for peace, have agreed to let 8 boats through, apparently. Of oil, obviously. So 100, break up to the 120s. Still not swept up here. Same story for NQ all week, leaving liquidity. Yeah, he's still yapping. Yeah, they're still talking, guys. They're still talking. This week's hard to trade. Yeah, I'd agree with you. Like it's news driven. All right, and the big trades are often happening in the Globex session, and then we get to deal with the chop afterwards. Why is he talking for so long? Well, they're doing a Q&A. I mean, it wasn't all him, to be fair. There was like 5 or 6 other people talking today as well. How do I get the options levels? I pay for them. I use Tanuki, but there's lots of places you can use. Tanuki, Cheddar Flow, tied with what's it called? Unusual Whales. Is that what it's called? There's loads out there. All right, while they're yapping, hopefully you guys can get me up on the likes. I'm going to use the bathroom. We've got 10 minutes left. Still short. We're like 220 likes short. What time are you at work? I'll take her out again. Okay, right back, same area, folks. They're trying to get this squeeze up to this to come and revisit where we sold down from at the moment, but we still have not cleared out these stops. No, we haven't. Still haven't cleared out 130s. He is still talking. Unfinished auction 130, 140, 130, 140. In that thin pocket, yeah, up to 50s, yeah. In here, yeah, you could deem these needing to have a little drift and clean these up, which is what we're talking about. Taking the liquidity. Can we draw that around here? All right, and then see if they sell that there, or if they're then going to base and go. Keep trying to zoom out H1, see where we are. You apologise for blaming me. You're totally right. That's all right, mate. Like I said, I wasn't trying to dig you out. I actually trying to help you. I remember being just like you. Honestly, man, I remember being just like you. I remember my first like 5K losing day with someone I was learning with, and I'm not going to say his name, and blaming them. And I remember like effing and blinding to myself. And it probably took me a long time to learn that you've just got to learn, man. And you've got to be in charge of yourself. I congratulate you just for taking ownership for it like so quickly. It took me a long time to learn to do that. Do I recommend smoking weed while trading? Definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, exactly. Respect for the apology, but more than the apology, like, congrats for yourself. Like, if you can be, the hardest thing to do trading is be self-reflective, right? Right, because if you have a bad day, it's going to be on you. This is for all of you. Same with me. If I have a bad day, if I have a not just a red day, no matter a really bad day, there's no way you have a really bad day without breaking rules. You either overtrade, you take subpar setups, you move your stop, you go on tilt, whatever it is, something like that happens. You don't have a really bad day if you have rules in place. You have red days, sure. A red day isn't a bad day, though. We just think it's a bad day because we think we have to win all the time. It's okay to put a trade on and it not work out. If that trade is sticking to thesis and it doesn't work out, as long as you're stopping at the right area, there's nothing wrong with that trade. It's going to happen. You are not going to win all the time. If you were going to win all the time, everyone would be rich all the time. It'd be the easiest job in the world. It isn't the easiest job in the world. It's the hardest job in the world. Why? Because there's a million variables and because we get in our own way. So don't deem a red day as a problem. Like, I've talked to someone about this yesterday. Like, losing is part of it. You need to get used to losing where it doesn't affect you, where you're not like, oh, fucking hell, I've had the worst day of my life and did it. That can't be the case. It just needs to be like, turned up, did my job, didn't work out today. I'll turn up tomorrow, do my job. Hopefully it works out tomorrow. Exactly. Who just said that? If you run a business, you have costs. Those are your red days. Scotty. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. All right, so back down to volume, VPOC, and previous week close. Again, we tapped the top side of the grey box. We still didn't clean out the liquidity. We're back down to this 100 kind of level again, and we're going to keep rotating. And if they lose this, they're going to try and come back down to that sort of 76, 78 level again. If they bid this again, they're going to try and clear out these stops at sort of 30s. Maybe there's a little imbalance up to 40s. We will see. Why do I tell you where to trade, but I don't trade myself? I do trade myself, mate. What are you talking about? I do trade myself, but like my trade today that I was looking for, right? I told you not to trade here. I traded the long back up. And then I got out and I was waiting for the expansion up, not to trade long, to play the short back down. All right. We went over this pre-market. All right. I told you pre-market. I'm looking to short these areas today. All right. We didn't get up there. So I waited for the 55 retest on the crack. Didn't fill me. What are you going to do? Like, if I don't get filled, I don't get filled. And then I've had a few attempts down here and some break evens in here, and I've made some money. And that's that. I still think there's a chance to move lower. I would just like to see this at this point, if we're going to do that move. I blew 2 accounts with that mindset, losing trades times in a row. Bye, darling. What time are you done? All right, nice. I'll call you after this. Losing trades many times in a row, tried to revenge, and that's where I get trapped by my own emotions. That's it. That's why you need rules, right? So, like, you need rules of, like, max loss per trade, and you size according to that. Max losing trades on the day, max trades on the day, max loss per account, right? Those will save you, all right? Because your job is to come back tomorrow and trade again. It's that simple. You want to be coming back the next day and trading again. And the longer you're in this market, the more chance you've got of making money. You're paid for decisions, not your time. Yeah, exactly, man. I totally agree. He's still talking. This is incredible. The holiday mellowed me out. I don't know if it did, actually. I barely slept on holiday. The hotel, while beautiful, the noise cancellation was non-existent. And La Paz was basically dead in the day because it's like 34 to 40 degrees and everyone's just scuba diving. And in the evenings comes alive, and I did not sleep. So I don't know if it mellowed me out. I'm just trying to be calmer and chat. Like, it's okay. These are the things that you guys don't understand that happen, right? This is an example of what I've dealt with this week. Yesterday, I woke up to death threats on YouTube from trolls. All right, I woke up to kidnapping threats. I take those seriously. So things like that are not nice to deal with. Then I have, some of you saying silly stuff in chat. It gets tiring to deal with. I'm 40 years old, married man. I'm only here to try and make money and help you make money. No other reason. Okay, so things like that affect me. Yeah, people are insane and horrible. So they got reported, and I won't say any more than that. Some of the mods in here know the deal. Why, though? Because people on the internet are mad. That's why. Because they can get brave behind I don't know what you call it, a faceless profile or whatever. I would hate to be a celebrity. I cannot imagine the bullshit that they go through. It must be absolutely awful. All right, so still getting stuck at these 90s. You can see how sensitive we are. All right, so this little dotted line, you can barely see it. This is your previous week close. This is current point of control on the day. This is the shelf, right? But we're struggling into here. All right, so the rotation is here to here at the moment. If we let go of this, maybe we get this move back down into 50s. And again, what was that big level? 32s is the outlying delta. If they reclaim this, they're going to have another go at trying to clean these stops out. Right, I don't have a position in this. I don't like what I'm seeing. This is kind of like earlier. Look, we go sideways for ages, we drop. We go sideways for ages, maybe we pop. Like, it's not ideal. We're currently inside of initial balance. We're inside of value. We have left previous day's value, which is why I was looking for shorts today. We left previous day's value. All right. The overnight short was the best. These were the best shorts here. All right. And I would have loved a retest into this. or even into this. All right, but we left buyers trapped overnight and yesterday. If we think about why I was looking for a sell today, these guys are trapped, so we're moving away. So we wanted pops to sell into. We didn't get that much of a drive, unfortunately. I reckon if he had done his announcement at 10:30, we could have completed this and then done that, honestly. I think we got to 10 o'clock and everyone went, oh, God, I don't want to buy anymore. It would have been really nice. You can see at 10, that was the last push. Into lunch. God, that actually didn't go too slow today. I swear a lot. I do swear a lot. I probably swear. It's the thing we said last year. I should really be putting money in a jar to stop it. I've got a potty mouth. It's part of being a Londoner, I think. You're lucky I don't say worse stuff. Well, you're not lucky, but if you're from the UK, you'll know there are words that we use that you just can't use in America. Thanks for coming back day after day, bro. You're a G. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. So coming back down to test this little node again into these 77s. Again, if they lose 77s, I still think that you can see here they keep trying to absorb 77 and under. If we think about this guy, these green lines are absorption, okay? That was absorption. That was absorption. That's your big buyer. That's the 77, 78 kind of zone, all right? So here is where they keep trying to absorb the tape. If this guy who's been absorbing loses the bid, all right, if he's forced to become a seller, I don't know why he's done a line like that, then I think you've got a chance of revisiting down here into 31. So we're coming right down into the level that they keep trying to absorb at. This is the key level right now for what happens for the rest of the day, I would say. It'd be really nice if they stopped talking. I'll sit here a little bit longer with you. I will have to take my dog out because she's being a bit weird today. Luna! Every time I swear I do a giveaway, oh my God, I wouldn't have enough things to give away, I don't think. We're almost at 1,200. Okay, here you go. Right into the 77s, folks. This is the level. If they lose this level, all right, if these guys could keep absorbing 77s to 71, become sellers. Remember, they've been dip buyers all morning. If they become sellers, you have a chance of that move to 30s. I have no position in this. I'm just trying to tell you what I'm seeing on the tape. I've just shown it to you. I'm trying to show you what I'm seeing on the tape. It's this level right here is your important level. And then I can mark out where the big buyer came in for you. He was at 32s. 30, can we put a line on here? 32s, right there. And actually big buyer. I'm going to double check that again. 32, yeah. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. Everyone, you've been very kind today. I appreciate it. Love the UK terms like you're taking a piss, mate. Has me laughing first time I heard it. It's funny, when I came here, some of my Californian friends would try and join in. I remember being at the pub and one of them went, "You're a pisser, mate." And I was like, "The fuck is a pisser?" What's a pisser? The piss head, maybe. Might be a piss head or a piss taker. Not pisser. That would mean I'm pissing myself, like quite literally pissing my pants. It's so funny when you hear stuff differently. Taking the mick, yeah, taking the mick. They wouldn't get that here either. Oh, Snatch is a great film. Snatch is a fantastic film. All those films were great. I really like the Gentleman series and film as well. Really good. Anything Guy Ritchie. Thanks so much. Joanno, very kind. I'm going to be a college student next year, and that's why I thought on how to make money myself and not relying on my parents. I'm also a person who's interested in ICT. I think I might suit here. Yeah, I mean, look, some of ICT's teachings are very good. I've never denied that. But pinch of salt, okay? Pinch of salt with it. Don't believe everything. Some of them are very useful. Like fair value gaps can be useful. They're not going to show you the real imbalance, but they can be useful areas of understanding. Understanding structure with him, probably pretty good teaching, I'd say. It's probably his best teaching. But remove all the noise. Like, just simplify it. Breaker blocks, unicorns, all that bullshit. Get rid of that. Support and resistance for those zones. Supply and demand for those zones. That's it. That's it. You want to get more advanced when you're ready, look at order flow. But one thing at a time, my friend. But you're starting nice and early. I mean, anyone who starts that early, hats off to you, because you've got a nice long career in front of you. I wouldn't even focus on making money. If you can just use your 3 years at college or whatever of starting to understand the markets, all right, you're going to be so far ahead of 99.9% of people. And if you make some money, great. Do I like... Yeah, of course I like the Peakies. Fucking Peaky Blinders, mate. By order of the Peakies. Yeah, brilliant. I haven't watched the new film. I'm going to watch it at the weekend. Yeah, I saw the new Sherlock's on Prime, right? I haven't watched it yet. Is it any good? So still holding this grey box. Look, grey box to grey box. So it's still not broken below. They held those 77s again. So they're going to try and transfer up. They just rejected the 100 kind of move again. And that's your sort of rotation right now. It's basically 70s, 77s to 100 while they build out this liquidity. New Peaky was shit. No, really? No, please don't say that's true. Billions is a great show. Yeah, I like Billions. Didn't love the last series as much, the final series. Really, Adam? Oh, man, that's so disappointing. Right, here's a move back up to the 100. When I first joined, I was surprised at the amount of knowledge I could learn from Alex. It made me motivated every day to come back and learn more. Yeah, thank you, man. Wave Gaming. Appreciate it. Watching the Big Short tonight is a great film. Most TV is woke garbage. I don't really watch TV, just the odd series. Can we ping pong? Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Look, grey box to grey box. I don't know if you can see the boxes on your screen well enough, but grey box to grey box. I need to turn this up a bit. It looks quite light, doesn't it? I tell you what, I have never heard before coming to this country parties slag each other off so much. It's crazy. And I'll level with you. Am probably more so now than I was 4 years ago, conservative in the UK, but it's very rare in the UK. You might get them going at each other a bit in the House of Lords, but like the constant slagging in America is something that's new to me, party to party. It's interesting. Yeah, but you're green, man. You're green in this market. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. 7 out of 10 for Peaky. All right. 7 out of 10 is enough for me to want to watch it. I will give it a go. Mine America. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm in LA. The problem is, like, the reason we're getting this, you just have to understand, it's so hard for the market. And we've talked about this all week. All right. It's so hard for this market right now. We were in mega sell. Right. This was liquidation zone. Right. This was liquidation zone, and I'm going to go through it to show you. We get the news, peace deals being done. It's fugazi. It's not confirmed by anyone. No, it is being done. No, it's not. It is. No, it's not. It is. Well, we're not accepting it. Well, if you don't accept it, we're going to kill you. Oh, God. and then we're right back to where we started, right? So we're in a game of nothing's really changed here, and it's very hard for the market to be risk on. If we zoom out beyond that, right, we've lost volume. All right, so this week I wanted to be long this week once we had that news for a drive up, and I really wanted to sell this. All right, anyone who's been here the last few days, I would have loved to have sold that. That would have been a really high probability sell. Why? Point of control, point of control, point of control, big fucking level, pardon my French. Bulls would have come flying in here, and that would be a nice liquidity to sell. All right, now we're just, because of that Monday candle, we are pinned in Monday. Right, Monday has set the tone for the whole week of just chop. When we have a move that big, that quick, this is what happens. All right, back down. You're starting to lose these levels now. You are starting to now lose these levels, finally. All right, so you lost 78s or 75s there. So you had to test 78 to 100. They lost it. They lost the 78s. We're back into the IB low. And again, the big buyer is down here. You have an options level at 45, but the big buyer was down at 31, 32. So that's where I'd like to see it test for you guys. I'm not missing the move. I've chosen not to trade this at this point. I know it's moving, but I'm fine. I've made my money for the day, folks. I'm up 4,500 over 2 accounts. And the reason I didn't link them all together is because we weren't pro-trend. Had we lifted right the way up here, I probably would have linked all my accounts together for the trade. And that's kind of how I do it. Like, if we're in a pro-trend trade, a high probability A+ setup, I'll put them all together. If we're not, one by one. I'm only working on passing 20 accounts PA. I'm passing 20 accounts PA accounts, but I'm afraid to touch them after in this market. Is it a good strategy? What you mean? You're afraid? I think I understand what you're saying. You're passing your evaluations, but you're afraid to trade them when they're PAs. I mean, you're gonna have to trade them at some point. Has this market this week been more difficult? I would say yes. For me, I would say yes. For other traders, they might be like, no, it's not. It comes down to what what trading style you are. If you love trading rotation, this market's providing opportunity. If you don't need liquidity or you just trade divergence, market's been amazing. For me, we haven't quite come into levels that I really want to see. So my profits this week have probably not been as big as they have been in previous weeks. We've still had some good trades, but you would have seen the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. How many times have we hit multiple 100-point trades, 200, 300-point trades sometimes? A lot, because we left liquidity trapped. So I trade pops only. No, I trade my own money as well. Thanks, top 40. One day. Oh, is he stopping? Oh my God, it's done. That's got to be a record. Finally, they stopped talking. This is the worst market you've ever traded in because of news. I don't know how long you've traded for. I wouldn't say this is the worst market. I tell you what will be nice. All right, what will be nice is if it's going to look. Actually, we're going to have to go to the daily so you can see it. What will be nice for this market in general? All right, what will be easier trades for people is if and when, all right, this market bottoms out. Right, if we can get one of these kind of liquidity breaks like we had here, all right, ideally we come into like one of these pivots or these pivots. If we get really washy and the war goes on for ages, then, I'm not going to rule out this. But ideally, we do some kind of pullback into here, and then we start finding a bid in the market. I would say mid Q2, if not before. Remember, we predicted Q1 sell-off. It made sense for a Q1 sell-off. Q2, Q3, Q4, it'd be really nice if we go into a risk back on market. Remember, tech's selling off very hard. So if we can scoop long-term swings in tech around here or here, and we can get into one of these markets, it's going to be much easier to trade. Now, we'll probably go sideways when we come back in here, but what it means is we've positioned ourselves longs down here in swing accounts, and if we base here, we can give it time to build liquidity, and we all know what happens after that. Eventually, we'll get this move at some point. Now, if we go into a prolonged war, you know, we can't rule out moves down here. We can't rule anything out in a market. We just have to see. But you can see, like, we're into the big options levels already on these higher time frame charts. But these are the levels we were talking about. It's funny. I had people attacking me a couple of weeks ago on YouTube in the old contract, being like, 24,400 is going to be bid up. You're a fucking idiot. That if you're in chat right now listening to me, if you were the guy that said that, how'd you like them apples? Your arrogance got you clapped. All right. Here's your range. There's the break of range. What happens with a break of range? We probably expand it lower. Where are we going to expand it to? Well, even if we just trade edge to edge, the measured move will be to 23,600, which, by the way, is the old high, which is also an options level. That's where we're probably going to go no matter what. All right. So it's amazing. All right. Gamma level here, 45s. Remember, you really want to see that test of 32s, all right? So I'd want to see you guys come down. You got sellers coming in here starting to get aggressive. You want to see this come and test this guy at 32s. You crack 32s, oh my days. That's all I'm going to say. 24,000 coming up. So here's the move to 32. So eventually you finish doing this nonsense here, let go of it. Oh, there you go. There's the 32s just getting wrecked. All right, so 24,000 coming up. Congrats if you took it. All right, and then the next level under 24,005 will be 971s and then 920s. All right, so 32s just got wrecked. Super happy for you guys who got it. Beautiful move. So you want to see what happens at 32s now. You do not want them to rebid 32s because you've just put re-excess in down here. So a seller just came in on that last move. 100 lot seller came in at 19s. So if they bid 32s now, you probably want to be done with it, or at least majorly reduce size. Yeah, so look what happened underneath that. That buyer, all right, at 32s, he probably stopped out down here, all right, this 100 lot, all right? So we're now holding above this 19 level. You've reprinted above 32s. That's your excess of the day, which we didn't have earlier. That looks much better now. So I would say a good exit down there for you guys into 32s and under. Your favorite conference is Quad for stochastics with PPO and ADX. Okay. Confluences, yeah. I knew what you meant. Oh, I don't trade those. Seen the whole thing on my footprint setup. Thanks, Alex. You're welcome. Gold just made a massive dip. Did it really? Where's the Dixie? It's trying to get back up to that 100 level. But that's probably like your best move of the day there. All right. So that 32s and this gamma level here, you can see, look, this is the highest, the biggest wall that they've got. Right. This is the biggest hedge that they've got into there. So there's a bit of front running into it. And remember, this 32s was the level where you needed to cover a good chunk into. And under that, we called for 24,000. We got close. We got close. All right. You got 14 points away. All right. Be very, very careful now that it's done that wash. No, I don't have video on Gamma. I just use it for Confluence, really, to be honest. Like for me, this is a higher time frame volume level, this green block. This is previous week low. We've got the whole number of 24,000. So I want to see, like, are we going to put a wall down there? Yeah, look, we've stacked walls down there. Okay, it makes sense that if I'm looking for shorts today from up here, I want to be covering into that. And this is giving me good reasons to cover in with my other analysis. Again, you want to be very careful here. I would say 32s is where the buyer came in, and 19s is your level now. All right, 19s is where that big seller come in. Now, I can show you on Bookmap. I'll make it easy for you guys. All right, look at this guy down here. You see this guy? 444 lot at 19s. Okay, this is the guy that caused the auction to come back the other side because he didn't get continuation. So we lift up from him, and you can see they're stacking down here, right? Big orders. There's big buyers here. You have to zoom in to get the exact level. All right, 20s, 500 lot, 15s, 100 lot, 24,000, 100 lot as well. All right, but you want to be very careful and get this tape to come down into 32s and below. All right, look, 31.75 is the actual level, 300 lot buyer. And if they don't protect him, I'm going to see this outlying delta. I hate it when it does that. Juggles up against me. Stop moving tape, you're moving too quick. 31.75, where's the other guy? Keeps juggling. 31.75, can you let me come down, please, tape? Stop moving for a second. $14s is the other level, right at the low. You cannot get the tape on your bookmap. This, you have to right click, configure column, and you'd have to add it in. All right, you'd add it, drop down and go to time and sales right here, and then put time and sales on. All right, that's how you get it. Okay, so you're back under those 32s. That buyer is now caught. The seller is at 19s, remember. If you sell under 19s, you will get continuation. But 19s is your level where that 100 lot seller came in. So they're going to test that 100 lot seller to say, hey, do you want to get out even? If you get out even, you're going to be a buyer. If you don't get out even and you're going to hold that position, then we got that move to 24,000 and previous week low. All right. Alex, I noticed after a significant drop, the entire candle almost retraces and then it goes back down. Can you explain? Well, it doesn't always do that, but in this case it did. Why? Okay, because we had a liquidation event, all right, where we lost the bid, all right? So all these buyers stop out, all right? These buyers stop out and the short sellers come in and you get a big sell. Now, in that sell, we have an imbalance, all right? Because it happens so fast, orders aren't filled. So the market takes out the liquidity, comes down. I can show you in here. Right, in here, it is all sell side. Right, this here is the candle you're talking about. All right, we're all sell side. All right, we're very, 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 very thin. We have a seller caught at the lows. All right, so once we come back above him, he starts stopping out. We're going to come and fill the imbalance of this candle because not all the orders get filled because we move so fast. So we print back up, fill the imbalance, and then come back down and test. Who are we testing? Where have we just tested? Oh, yeah, the guys that got themselves caught at the lows. So we're testing those areas now that we've just gone over numerous times. If we want to see that on the book, right, big drop, all sell side, very thin. This was an imbalance in here where we print back up to test. All right, and you can see, where have we just come down to? 32s, and then we just came short of the 100 lot seller who's being protected right now. So all the time we're above 19s, this guy's being used to print back upside at the moment. Back under him, we flush. But all the time we're over 19s, I'd be somewhat cautious. So 32s and 19s are your levels you're watching. The Trump pump gap's already been filled. You're talking about to the low. I mean, basically to here. But like the actual gap has been filled. But like if you're talking to the candle breakout, we'd need to come right down into these. Can we get IB low continuation? Yeah, absolutely. That's what you're playing for. That's exactly what you're playing for today. All the time we're heavy versus this. IB continuation. You can look at a 1.5 or a 2. Right, and look at that 1.5s into previous week lows. That's probably a very good area to take money. All right, so back into this same level where you had that 100 lot getting stuck. You can get Bookmap to catch up. So you'd want this to resell now versus 19s really. All right, and if it gets back above 19s, you want it to sell 32s. You would not want it back above 32s now because you've just tested sort of 19s in that area again. So you want it back under 19s and you want a new low of daybreak and you want previous week low at this point, really 70s. So as the 19 staying heavy, you need a lower day break all the way down to 24,000 and below. Here it comes. So sellers coming in here being aggressive. You want to be very careful now at 14s because they've just got absorbed a little bit there at 14s. But ideally, you reject 19s. Ideally, you get under 14s. And ideally, you can see it's 24,005, this gamma level. It's a big level. And if they let go of that, I think you get previous week low, which is 71s. Good chance that they want that previous week low of 71s. It just depends if they've got enough bulls caught in here. At the moment, it's very sell side heavy down at these lows. The last bull that was caught is all the way up at 32s, remember. So it's 14s, testing 14s, testing 14s. So 14s to 19s as you transition. There's the break of 14s. They should get you down there now. You can see 24,000, big level on the book. And then really previous week low. All the way down into this. So 05s is the gamma. This is where you'd really like it into 70s. This is why someone asked me, why am I not buying a discount today? Hopefully, if you're still in chat, this makes sense now of why. Because we trapped volume, we left volume higher, we trapped volume again, and we are looking to rotate lower. It's a harder trade at the lows, but it's the trade that we set up today. Gamma level, big level. And also, by the way, SPY 650, big level. You're under it right at the moment. You want to stay heavy under that. And 575 ES, you want to stay heavy under that. I'd be watching 558 or sort of 559 ES and 550 ES. I really hope that you guys get previous week low here. It'd be really good if you do. And then you can just hold for a squeeze underneath it, like a negative squeeze. There you come. You should get a break here. Just watch the 24,000s. Everyone's front running that, and then you should get a break under it. So there's some front running at 24,000. You can see there's 100 lot on the tape here. You should get a break through it. Honestly, you should break through it. And you just want to watch 14s. You want 14s and 19s to stay heavy. So there's the 24,000 tap. Still front run it. So I'll stay with you while this move's happening. I just want to try and manage you guys, make sure you get paid. So I'll just be watching for 14s and 19s to stay heavy. If they pop through that, they will test that buyer who's all the way up at 32s again, all right? So you want, really, to be very comfortable, you want 14s and 19s just to stay heavy so you can just use your runner. Yeah, VIX is looking for that break, isn't it? It's looking for that break back to 28, which is where the gamma is. That high day break through 28, it's a big fucking problem for this market. And we talked about through 28, there's a move to 30 and 31. And at the very beginning of today, I said VIX has been elevated for a long time. Doesn't look good. I've resisted talking shit to other traders who keep saying that this market's going to go higher and blah, 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 and this pullback and that pullback. It's just like the whole I told you so stuff that you see Instagram traders do just winds me up without a real understanding of what's going on. Right, 24,000, there's a 100 lot seller down here. He's just been absorbed into 24,000. You really want to make this move under it soon now. There's a 326 lot seller down there, got absorbed into 24,000, just so you're aware. So again, same levels, right? Same levels. There's definitely a seller caught right now at 24,000. All right, 14s and 19s need to stay heavy. If they don't stay heavy, you're going to pop to 32s, okay? You want that break under 24. They want previous week low is what they want. Just remember earlier today I said, yeah, we're chopping, but it will come. You've just got to let the chop happen. Chop happens for a reason, and then we can use the liquidity. All right, so chop happens for a reason, and then we can use the liquidity. This is your 1.5 as well for your IB. All right, you've got it. You should have paid some here, and if you get lucky, we just fucking tank this thing, which would be hilarious. Video creeping lower. I've got that price target at 170. If we break 170 on video, I think it's night market. Here we go. Here's the wash, folks. Absorption underneath that. You want the 24 to stay heavy now. Really beautiful work, you guys who are in it. Really nice. 24,000 is not a spoofer. He's already been filled, mate. I'm not sure what you're looking at. ES getting into PWC as well. All right, so getting very close to that 59 we talked about on ES. You're basically coming into it now. So if you're trading ES, you're watching 59s for a cover and then 550s. All right, and then maybe you can look at 520s. 525s. Almost at previous week low. Get ready to take some profits down here, please. And then your runners only. 80% out now into this level. Don't be a dick for a tick, okay? Do not be a dick for a tick. Am I in profit today? Yeah, I'm well into profit. I'm like, now I'm $4,780 in profit. All right, do not be a dick for a tick down here. You know it's a big level. This is the green block. This is the level that they're trying to cover into. We're into negative squeeze territory, right? So you should have covered sort of 80% into here. And then, you know, you never know. You just never know. They might say, hey, we don't like what we've heard about the wars. What I was saying last night when I watched the conference last night, and they said, if you don't sign this, we're going to blow you up. I thought, market's not going to like that. It doesn't matter what you think of the war. The market will not like that. What the market wants to hear to be risk on is, we're done with this war. We've done a deal. That's what the market wants to be risk on. $23,900 weekly open. Yeah, that's why it's the bottom of the green box, my friend. You're right. That's why it's down here. This is the weekly open. This is where I expect the market to get a bit more compact. If we lose that, then we can think about that move to 23,770s or whatever it is down here. I can put a line in for you down here. I'm going to remove this guy. Oh, not this guy. This guy, because we've got rid of it now. Do I think plays are done for the day? Definitely not. Definitely not. You can see that front running. So we just come up, test 24,000. If they pop 24,000, it's the same levels, guys. 14s, 19s, 32s. You haven't quite hit that previous week low yet. ES has not closed its gap either. So I still think we're going to move lower. It's just when it's ready. They might need to pop up, trap some bulls who are trying to play the reversal, and then they resell it down. It would not surprise me. You definitely don't want to be selling down here. Did someone just sell that? I want to go sell. Should I? No, you've missed the opportunity. The opportunity was here, guys. All right, I kept telling you the rotation would be from 78s or whatever it was. Was it here? 73s? I can't remember what it was. This was the rotation. Once they let go of that, this is the move they're looking for. All right, this is a build out of liquidity to break. Once we let go of that, it was night. You do not want to sell where buyers are likely to step in. Remember, buyers are likely to step in here. You want to be covering into this. So through the 400s, we're now coming up to that 14s that we talked about. If you go through 14s, it's 19s and then 32s. All right. Look at that high, 14s. All right, it's for a reason. It's for a reason. It's literally the liquidity on the book. So through 14s, they go 19s and 32s. At the moment, they're trying to reject 14s. And if they start bidding here at 24,000, they probably do that lift back up. So good rejection of 14s, back under the 24s. And you have a good chance of making a new low here if they keep staying heavy under 24 now. They need to stay heavy under 24, and you can look for that previous week low. If they reclaim 24s and go 14s, this is just how they're going to keep rotating. The best short opportunity now, if you're not already short, yeah, it's probably 32s to 50s. It's probably some kind of lift up here, somewhere into this. All right, if they don't take this. If they already take this, you must not take that. All right, if they already sweep this, you do not want to take this out. You do not want to reshort this if they've taken the low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit's still there. It's being protected right now. So I still think there's a chance to come and do this. I tell you what, the end of day auction does not look bad, though, for the first time today. I would be slightly concerned about that, but I would be surprised if they don't come and take it. Could you play the reversal of previous week low? What you would need to see, my friend, to play the reversal would something like this with good sell side excess where shorts get trapped and a recovery and base. And then if you're going to play that counter trend long, you better know that every pop can be sold into. So any move up here, if you end up getting something like this, again, 80% out, break over this, you're laughing for a resqueeze. I don't think we'll get that today, but you never know, because we built a huge amount of liquidity here. If we sweep and manage to get up into this, you just don't know. But we're pro-trend short under this right now, okay? And these are your low-hanging fruits right here. It's a long stream today, but I just want to make sure you guys get paid. Did we get there on the likes as well? Still not there on the likes. Only 1,200 likes. All I want to give you guys something free. All right, 24,000 test again. So you still can't break the 14s. You can see the importance of the 14s. 24,000 test here. You wash this. There's a slight imbalance down into 90s, but I would imagine you get a new low of day if we start breaking here. All right, so again, watching the order flow. That was the move back to the 14s that we talked about, right into this old sellers level where the previous buyer got trapped. This is the 24,000s. If you let go of 24,000s, we should come and test 90s, and really I would expect a new low of day, only because there's a magnet down at previous week low. Otherwise, I wouldn't be trading this, really. I mean, I'm not trading it, but I wouldn't be holding if there wasn't a reason to move lower at this point. But there you go. Here's the imbalance into the 90s, which we just showed you. And under this, you should get previous week low. Do I think it's worth a long? Definitely not now, mate. Not right now. Like I just talked about what I would look for if you were going to look for the long. You are in a major sell, breaking down major volume from previous week, previous day, current week levels. You don't want to be early on the long. Like if you long this now, you know, what's to say we don't move to 23,600 today? What's to say we don't move to 23,100 today? You don't know. I don't know. I know those at levels, but we don't front run this. Look at we're in a major sell. Zoom out. Zoom out. All right, who's stuck in the market? These guys. We left that. Why did I want to short up here? Because these guys were stuck. All right, we're moving lower. All right, if we break this, then everyone from this whole year is out of position. Why am I saying that? We go for this whole year and from before, right? Everyone's out of position. I'd need to do it NQ one chart. Hang on, get you onto it. right? We are taking out, think about all tests this week. Everyone from November is out of position. We are liquidating events. Remember where I think we're coming back into, at least this pivot and maybe below, all right? There's probably a good long reaction somewhere in here, and this is what we're going to wait for, all right, for the ETF longs, all right? I'm going to try some longs here, and I'm going to add some longs here. And if we dive down here, so be it. I don't fucking care, because I know in the next 5 years, we're going to take this out. No one's entering shorts here, guys. We're covering the positions here for you guys, saying you guys are going to get this and that and the other. We've been covering positions here, and the target is 270s and then below. And if you're trying to long here, being like, you're going to beat in manipulation, you have no fucking idea what this market is capable of. You are hoping, all right? If you are long here, you are hoping that we get this move. You have no indication right now that the selling is done. Nothing, all right? You have nothing right now because we're underneath 14s. We're underneath 24. We're underneath 32s. We've not swept. We've not reclaimed. We've not left sellers trapped yet. If you are going to be a buyer down here, you are doing everything wrong in the market. Even if it works for you, it is not a legitimate trade setup. The legitimate long will be when these sellers are out of position, okay? These guys need to be out of position. That's when the legit long comes in. You don't have that right now. I cannot make it more clear than that. That wasn't really at you, Slowbo. I know you're saying you're yellowing. It's other people saying you're going to become my liquidity because market manipulation, That's just wrong. What time frame are on? That's a 1 minute that you're looking at the moment. Hey, 1,200 likes. Did we get there? One of you just said we did. Not on my screen, we didn't. Let me reload this. Yeah, okay, great. Let's get you guys set up then. Okay, introduction course. It's only a 2-hour course. It's great for someone who's never traded before, or you can always give it to a friend. Just type course once in chat. And we'll pick one of you guys. Less people in here today because it's much later than normal. Dumb question, but why do you think people get top ticked and bottom ticked even if they had a plan? Because market likes to run through liquidity. So like if you know, if you're apprehensive and you're like, oh, I'm longing here, I'm risking this, and then it stops you out and then does it, it's because market wants to take the liquidity. So it's probably because they don't understand the level yet. Thanks for everything you do, Alex. Finding your channel changed my life and my family's life. Ignore the trolls and remember how much we appreciate you. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it, Contorted. Still think you're going to try and clean out. It's just where they need to lift to 30s first. You've not fulfilled the obligation yet. All right, should we pick this winner? Getting an invite to the cookout. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Harold. Where do you live? I'm there. I love a cookout. I love a cookout. All right, let's pick this winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Redcon 1 trades. Was it you that was struggling earlier, Redcon? Make me happy if it was, because no one better for this course to go to if that was you. Redcon 1 trades. Nice. Congratulations, man. Oh, that makes me happy, man. That makes me really happy. That is the world doing something kind. All right, all I want you to do, buddy, just send me an email, info@flowzonetrader.com. All right, send me a screenshot of you logged in, and I'll sort you out with the introduction course. Here you go, guys. So it's going to try and break down for that previous week low now. And if you haven't covered some, you need to cover some into the wash. Under previous week low, you might get like a nasty snap. If you're very lucky, you must cover positions into that. All right, you must cover some positions into that. If you haven't already, like I said, for me, I learned the lesson the hard way. Was it yesterday? I was a dick for a tick. Didn't take my money off the table. What's the footprint indicator I use? Twin Peaks is what I use. All right, let's do one more. All right, type FCT in once in chat. We'll give away an Apex account here because you guys have been troopers sticking with me today. Just shows you, if you're willing to stick around, I will find trades. It can just take time. You're so close here, folks. You're so close to getting the move. I really hope it comes here. The sellers are trying to step on the gas here. They're starting to get aggressive. Tape, trying to get aggressive here. They need the breakdown soon, though, because they're really piling in at these 85s. Yeah, they come again, piling in again. They're really trying to get this breakdown for you. Here they come. Tape flashing red. They're trying to get through. Some bids here at 80s. As soon as you get through the 80s, you should get that move to 70s. There's only 10 points more. Is all it needs. But I tell you what, under 70s, there might be a little bit of a stop out. But as long as you've moved your stop down, as long as you're protecting your profits, here's the 80s again. You just want one nasty candle to take it all out. Here it comes. Very, very, very close. You got 75s there. You're looking for 71s. And have your wish orders ready under 71s. There you go, folks. You're welcome. There's your 71s. And anything beyond this is just fantastic. But that's your main TP target you've just taken, the previous week low. All right? Fantastic. And you might still puke here, but this was your main target. This is the low-hanging fruit. Your main opportunity for the day was to here. All right? Anything beyond this, you can think about the negative gamma squeeze down into this. And if you got very lucky, all right, you could think about the 770s today. But this was your low-hanging fruit. Okay, guys? That was your low-hanging fruit. Let's pick this winner. Apex winner is Jason Evers. Hopefully I've said that right. Jason Evers. Are you here, Jason Evers? Nice. Congrats, man. All right, same thing as for Redcon 1. Just send me an email, info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged into your YouTube, and I will sort you out with a free Apex account. All right. Well, there we go, folks. I mean, not such a bad day after all, was it? If you were willing to be patient. Pretty good day after all. Low-hanging fruit now hit. Anything beyond this is just magnificent. W's in chat if you caught any of that, just so I know how many of you were in this short. It's always useful. I called out these levels before I left for vacation. I did indeed, yeah, and we were ready for them this week again. Oh, lots of you got it. Fantastic. That's awesome. Great to see. Great to see. All right, so again, I still wouldn't be a bidder on this market. I can show you the prints so that you can mark them out for yourselves. All right, again, you don't want to be buying this market all the time these sellers are in control. I'll clean this up a bit. All right, you need to get back above these sellers and start using them. All right, these guys here. So they have come in from 79, 24,000, 24.14, 24.19, and you want to get that buyer back in the money at 32. Back above 32s, all right, you might be in business. Okay, so back above 32s. Where's 32s? Up here. All right, if you can get back above this and start to do this, you might be in business for this move. But again, if you're going to be long today, you counter trend. All right, you would expect them to try and resell this area. If they chomp through this, okay, maybe you get very lucky and they turn the booster on. Again, the shorts, we're into here. You've done that move now. All right, folks, any questions before I leave chat? You were short from 220. That's awesome, man. That was a great short. Right up here, right into these highs. Fantastic short. I wanted to be short up into these. I really wanted to be short up into these, but there we go. All right, guys. Getting out of here then. Big love to all of you. And just be smart for the rest of the day. Don't be forcing the shorts now. Okay, you've had the move. The low-hanging fruit's gone. The chance of going lower, it can still move lower, but you don't want to be a new money short after we've taken out key levels of liquidity. All right, I cannot say that loud enough for you guys to hear. Peace and love, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Let's end this week strong. Have a good end of week. Those in Discord, I'll pop in now, and then I'm going to take my dog out and get some lunch and stuff. And yeah, be kind to each other and use hard stops. All you guys that don't use hard stops, start using hard stops.